No Solanke, who has had an ankle problem. No Brennan Johnson either, who scored the goal in the Europa League final and was Tottenham's top scorer last season, only on the bench. Udogie is not involved, another former Udinese player, but he's not yet recovered full fitness. And of course, Yves Bissouma is missing because of his persistent lateness. He was left at home. And the Paris Saint-Germain team, Chevalier, the new goalkeeper, that's the big talking point. Donnarumma seemingly heading for pastures new, quite possibly the Premier League. Then the familiar back four of Hakimi, Marquinhos the captain, Willian Pacho and Nuno Mendes. Then Vitinho and Zaire Emery. And then in some shape or form, Paul, a front four. And the way that they lined up was with Kvaratskhelia on the right-hand side, Barcola on the left, and then Dembele and Doué in the middle. That is quite a prospect to defend against that.
Well, we've seen them a lot, haven't we, recently, PSG, whether it be last season in the Champions League and also in the Club World Cup, and they've normally been very, very predictable, not only with their starting 11 but with the personnel, the team shape that they play. It's normally a pretty standard 4-3-3, but tonight with the selection of the amount of attacking players, he's got Doué in there, Barcola in there, Dembele, Kvaratskhelia. You would think the two holding midfielders would be Zaire Emery and Vitinha, but it'll be interesting to see how they do actually line up, and if they do line up with that front four, that will be a formidable force for Tottenham to hold.
Yeah, two of the familiar midfield three that we saw go all the way to that record-breaking win in Munich in the final are not in the team. So João Neves is suspended after he was sent off in the FIFA Club World Cup final against Chelsea, and Fabian Ruiz, the excellent Spaniard, is only a substitute, but they've not played pre-season at all. What have you spotted, Paul?
Just looking how Tottenham lined up, because they did warm up with a back four in front of the PSG players during the pre-match warm-up, but they are lining up with three central defenders: Danzo, Romero, Van de Ven, Spence on the left and Porro on the right. It will be a 5 out of possession, a 3 in possession.
So they are trying to pull a fast one. Tottenham kick off the 2025 UEFA Super Cup here in Udine in northeastern Italy. The first time that Tottenham have played in this match. Tottenham looking to become the 7th different English club to get their name engraved on it. No French club has ever won it. We've got another goal in the Carabao Cup, where Barnsley have taken the lead against Fleetwood. 7:45 kickoffs there. Birmingham City against Sheffield United will be just underway as Tottenham have a chance. An early shot which is curled over. Pedro Porro actually found himself in a position, between 25 and 30 yards out. Paul, he had some space, he went for goal, and that dipped maybe 2-3 feet over the top right corner.
PSG in comfortable possession over on the far right-hand side. Fullback Hakimi looked to play a pass across the pitch, he got it all wrong. Landed at Pedro Porro's feet, 25 yards from goal. He was in acres of space. You would expect Porro, who's decent from distance, to at least hit the target. He curled it with his right foot and he went harmlessly over the bar.
So Paris Saint-Germain 0, Tottenham 0. Welcome as well to listeners to BBC London who join us tonight on 5 Live. And indeed, of course, you can listen via the BBC Sounds app as well. All of the BBC's radio stations are on the app as PSG tried to play it out from the back, and the left back, the Portuguese Nuno Mendes, wins his team a throw in. And there is a choice of listening tonight, because two of those Carabao Cup ties, the commentary is on the still relatively new Sports Extra 2 and Sports Extra 3, which you can only hear via the BBC Sounds app. So Birmingham City Sheffield United is on Sports Extra 2, Huddersfield Leicester is on Sports Extra 3, but you'll keep you right across those matches during the course of the evening. We've already heard Bolton 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1 is the latest score. Those are the only goals so far in the Carabao Cup. So Paris Saint-Germain against Tottenham, and as for PSG, it is Kvaratskhelia, isn't it, on the right-hand side and Barcola on the left?
Yeah, absolutely. Kvaratskhelia spends most of his time on the left-hand side, but tonight, as you quite rightfully say, switched over to the right-hand side. Barcola in his more familiar role on this left-hand side. He'll pose a threat, he'll cut in, very strong on his right foot, and he's not afraid to shoot from distance. Dembele will lead the line down the middle, and then the two wide players will look to support him as often as they possibly can. But it's Spurs who have started the brighter of the two sides.
Tottenham, who are in all white as they like to be in European competition, just with the dark blue trim, and Paris Saint-Germain in the mainly navy blue kit with the big red stripe right down the front of the shirts. So throw into Tottenham. This is at the Paris Saint-Germain end, where their supporters are. The official allocation, 6,700 for each club in this 25,000 capacity stadium. Danso with a long throw into the box, it's flicked on, bounces down and then is hooked away by Vitinha to comparative safety near the halfway line, where Jed Spencer's able to head the ball back to goalkeeper Vicario.
Immediately there's a piece of Thomas Frank's management. How often have we seen Tottenham hurl a long throw into the box? I didn't even know Kevin Danso could throw the ball that far. That really is a weapon that Tottenham have got. Something that Thomas Frank's used very, very often at Brentford. They've had a lot of success, both in the opposition's box and defending set plays are very strong. And there immediately Tottenham had a throw in down on this near side, level with the 18-yard box. There was a clear structure in the middle, there was movement of the players, and it was launched very, very long distance by Danso, right into the middle of that penalty area. Something to look out for.
Paris Saint-Germain 0, Tottenham 0, and there has been a goal in the Carabao Cup at St Andrews. Charlie Slater.
The game barely 5 minutes old, but Birmingham lead by a goal to nil. Awful at the back from Sheffield United. A back pass left too short for the keeper. Gray sneaks in, and then Kyogo Furuhashi scores the easiest one of his life, his first ever for the club. 1-0 Birmingham.
Yes, early promise from him. And interestingly, Charlie, just interested to know, is that a full house for Birmingham tonight?
It's not.
Sounds it.
No, it's not a full house, but I would say that it's the loudest I've known a stadium to be for a Carabao Cup match in all the years that I've been covering it. It just goes to show what sort of momentum this football club's got at the moment.
Yes, exactly so. So, as I say, if you want to listen to that, it is on Sports Extra 2 now. Via the BBC Sounds app. Free kick to Tottenham on the halfway line. Pedro Porro was caught there.
Just got caught by Mendes. The fullback's pushing on. That's going to be an interesting battle to watch, like the guys spoke about in the studio beforehand. In my opinion, watching PSG and Hakimi and Mendes as a pair, they've got the best two fullbacks in the world who work up and down tirelessly. They're an attacking threat, but also defensively very strong. It's an interesting one now, actually, because the free kick is just, 5 yards inside the PSG half? Tottenham have put the centre halves forward, everybody's gone forward, and goalkeeper Vicario is about to launch this free kick half the length of the field into the PSG box. Another example of the set plays.
Yes, the free kick is inside the PSG half, but Vicario's taking it right-footed. There it goes, high and long into the PSG box. They're appealing for, I think, a handball potentially by Danso, but the ball still with Danso, bounces back to him over on the left flank, looks to cross it, but miskicked it actually. Vitinha put a foot in, and then Hakimi put his foot through it and cleared it out of play on the halfway line.
That's really interesting to watch. Already just 5 minutes into this game, we can see the paw prints of Thomas Frank all over this game. From the kick-off, Vicario went long to Richarlison, who had the long throw on this near side from Danso, and there the free kick. There's no apologies made. He knows how dangerous set plays can be, and when he's got the likes of Danso, Romero, Van de Ven, the height in the team, he's making no apologies for putting the ball in the right areas and playing in the right areas higher up the field.
Yes, and incidentally, another one of those little Thomas Frank trademarks we saw in the warm-up, didn't we, with the rehearsing of set pieces.
Absolutely, yeah, both defensively and offensively. And then, as we said, we got word that it was going to be a back five, but then actually one of the coaches was working with a back four. Spence wasn't included, and that was right on the halfway line, in front of the PSG players and coaches. Bit of skullduggery going on already.
Listen, Paul, I've said for a long time now, I do not understand why managers don't try that in the warm-up on the pitch before the game to try and lead the opposition up the garden path. And I notice now he's not the first to do it. Actually, there are other instances I've experienced recently. Here's Richarlison playing it into the centre circle. Here's Kudus, one of the new signings, the biggest money signing, and I'm afraid he's just passed the ball straight out of play some distance behind Danso.
Not sure whether he thought Thomas Frank was wearing a Tottenham shirt. He's below us, Thomas Frank, on the near touchline, dark blue trousers and a very white shirt.
So it is Tottenham on the back foot just now as Marquinhos plays it forward towards Dembele, as then it's played up there towards the edge of the penalty area, where Zaire Emery is able to take it on, this highly talented teenager, 19 years old, not 20 till March, so a lot of football for the PSG treble winners last season in terms of the Champions League, the domestic league and the French Cup. Ball out of play for a throw. PSG back in possession. Here is Dembele, the brilliant Dembele, Champions League player of the season, might be the Ballon d'Or winner. Vitinha now out to the left-hand side where Barcola chests it down. Barcola now rolls his foot over the ball. Tottenham have got two defenders there. Barcola then to the edge of the area, touch from Doué. Then across it comes Kvaratskhelia inside the penalty area, set up by Zaire Emery, but it was slightly behind him, slightly under his feet if you like, and as he tried to hit the shot on the turn, it went wide.
Just shows how dangerous PSG can be on the turnover of possession. Quick movement, quick interchange. Barcola down here on this left-hand side plays the ball into Zaire Emery, who in turn finds Kvaratskhelia. As you say, his first touch was good, but he just couldn't quite get his balance. Swung his left foot out, it went harmlessly wide of Vicario's right post, but they are dangerous and very, very quick in transition, this PSG side.
Interesting watching Tottenham again, isn't it, in terms of what this formation is right now. Pedro Porro is pushed very high. In fact, he's wandering now, Pedro Porro, into the centre circle, and Spence right up on the halfway line on the other side of the pitch as Tottenham play it forward with Sarr, but Pacho is able to take command of that. Pacho's got a big, in fact it's almost his whole left forearm is strapped up the central defender, the Ecuadorian international. Ball down the left to Barcola. Palhinha puts in the challenge. Out of play for a throw-in to PSG, but Palhinha has taken a bang in that.
I think he's just caught one in the face there. Straight on from Barcola on his way down. He's sat up now. Referee's asking him if he wants some treatment, but he slowly seems to be getting back up towards his feet. It's just coming together, wasn't it? Him and Danzo as well.
I mean, in terms of the formation, it's quite fluid, but it's three central defenders, isn't it?
And it's Porro as the one. I mean, when they're out of possession, you can see they are a five. When they're in possession or trying to push higher up the pitch, it's Pedro Porro, the one that's given the licence to tuck into that hybrid midfield role that we've become so accustomed to seeing.
So this is Thomas Frank's Tottenham, and I'm just looking down on him. 7 years as the head coach at Brentford. At the time he left, he was the third longest serving manager out of the top 92 clubs. And now, though, this is all new. A pristine white short-sleeved shirt on, black trousers, standing with his lank hair flopping down with his arms crossed. And here's Richarlison for Tottenham. Take it on towards the byline. I think he ran it over the dead ball line, he did. And it is a goal kick, says the Portuguese referee, João Pinheiro. Let's get an update from the Carabao Cup at Bolton again. Tom Gale.
Bolton 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1. The hosts are down to 10. Teenage centre-half Sam Inwood brought down Charlie McNeil. Denial of a clear goal-scoring opportunity. We played just under half an hour. Bolton 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1.
0-0 here between Paris Saint-Germain and Tottenham. As the ball goes back to Vicario, who is closed down by Dembele, and that means that he has cleared it out of play on the halfway line.
It's quick, Dembele, isn't he? Really quick as a goalkeeper. I mean, he covered the ground so quickly on Vicario. He looked like he had all the time in the world. Vicario looks up and Dembele's on top of him.
I mean, he was dynamite, wasn't he, in the last half? Maybe more than that of the season. Ended up with a personal best of 35 goals in all competitions. Dembele, before that, his previous best in any season had been 14. He has found a setup here, a manager in Luis Enrique, in which he is so comfortable. But Kudus has won the ball back from Nuno Mendes, and he takes it away downfield, Kudus, but Nuno Mendes is fast and quickly gets back there and actually gets a touch in on the ball, but Pedro Porro is able to then continue it. Kudus now with a cross in. Richarlison stretching, is actually able to keep it in play, which was an achievement in itself as it dropped over his shoulder. Richarlison's cross, but that's overhit high, way beyond Kudus in the box. Jeered and ridiculed actually by the PSG supporters behind that goal, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, it wasn't his finest cross, Richarlison, was it? Really good work on this near side by Kudus. Gets a little bit of space on his left foot. He drifts it over to the far post. Slightly too long for Richarlison, who's able to, a wonderful touch with the tip of his toe. Kept it in play in turn, tried to return the favour, but he whipped his cross high and very unhandsomely into the PSG ultras behind that goal to our right.
League 2 Cheltenham have taken the lead against Exeter City. It's 1-0 to Cheltenham in the Carabao Cup. And if you missed it, the draw has been made already tonight for the second round, and it features Grimsby Town against Manchester United. But the whole of the draw you'll find on the football pages of the BBC Sport website. Our colleague Sammy Mockbell is here tonight. He'll be writing about this match, so you'll be able to read all about that as well later on this evening, and indeed in the morning when the Football Daily, of course, will be your podcast on BBC Sounds with the reaction. Here is Vitinha. Has a scurry forward, halfway inside the Tottenham half. And then Zaire Emery, he gets it back, uses Vitinha. And then back it goes to Marquinhos. And actually all the way back to William Pecho. The Tottenham players closing PSG down, not letting them settle on the ball, but that's easier said than done. Dembele, as he can do, it can cause mayhem when he's deep. Remember what he did against Arsenal in the first leg when he scored the only goal of that first leg in the semi-final. Now here's Kvaratskhelia, the Georgian, this brilliant PSG number 7. Plays it back, Vitinha's ball in, swirled to the back post, that's hooked away by Pedro Porro. I'm not sure Kudus will get there. He actually does get a touch on it, but Nuno Mendes was close enough to him to keep possession for PSG.
He's a fantastic player, Kvaratskhelia. I know in this job we're not supposed to have favourites, but across Europe this season he's been my favourite player to watch. I've covered him a lot. I think he's been absolutely excellent. Everything that he does, his first thought, he's always forward. He's not one of these players who looks to keep possession, recycle the ball. He looks to take on defenders, get past them, play the ball forward. And I think for what they've paid for him, I think he's an outstanding sign. He's been brilliant for PSG.
Here he is again, Paul, up towards the edge of the area, and Bentancur actually comes across and whips the ball away from him and sets Tottenham off on a counter-attack. Bentancur to Richarlison. Richarlison now, PSG getting men back. Richarlison then actually slips over. They're claiming he was fouled, but actually the offside flag comes. And it's a free kick to PSG.
A quick break from Tottenham there. Turnover of possession. Bentancur dispossesses Kvaratskhelia. They travel the length of the pitch. Richarlison makes a mess of it. Stands on the ball inadvertently. Plays the ball in behind the PSG back four to Bentancur, who finds himself in an offside position.
What about the leaving out of Brennan Johnson tonight?
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, leading scorer last year, the amount of goals, the assists that he had, the impact that he had, scoring the winner in the Europa League final as well. It just shows the plethora of quality that Tottenham have actually got in those areas. I know that Son's left the club, but that's an area that they are oversubscribed in.
Excellent play, PSG, as Doué plays it forward to Barcola. That's a very good challenge by Sarr, the Tottenham midfielder, coming back and putting the challenge in on the dangerous Barcola. Mind you, you can use that word dangerous for most of these PSG players. Barcola, who played in 64 of the 65 matches that PSG played last season, started 46 of them and weighed in with 21 goals and an incredible 22 assists, Barcola. And he's just, one component of this PSG team.
And they've got a really strong 11, haven't they? I mean, when we covered them last year, they're very predictable with their team and personnel. Barcola, Kvaratskhelia, Vitinha will play. Obviously, João Neves is suspended tonight. And what he's done, Luis Enrique, he's moved on a lot of the so-called bigger names. He's worked hard at it in the last, 2 seasons that he's had there with them. And he's moved on these players, and that the team is the real star. I know there's some big names in there, but the big names are because the team works so hard and makes individual star players. And they really have been an excellent team. But what was impressive was the way that Chelsea dismantled them in the Club World Cup final. That first half, I don't think anybody saw that coming.
No, that's right. Just 31 days ago, that PSG's defeat in New Jersey to Chelsea. 0-0 tonight against Tottenham, another new English opponent after last season, as Paul has reminded us there. PSG had a hat-trick of wins, didn't they, against English clubs in the knockout stages of the Champions League. As our friend Ackley, the bistro owner, said to us, as well as the Champions League and the French League title and the Coupe de France, they should have given them the Premier League trophy as well for doing that. But they came unstuck against Chelsea, and now Tottenham are trying to win a trophy against them here in this lovely part of Italy, the northeast, not far away from the Slovenian border. It's about 20 miles away from where we sit here, so you can clearly see the Alps. It's quite dramatic, and the town of Udine itself. I was in the Piazza Liberta earlier today. They love an OTT city centre, and that is one, with all sorts of columns and the castle sitting high on the hill in the middle of the city, and the statues with only fig leaves to protect their modesty. PSG with the ball on the edge of their own penalty area, and that is a foul on Sarr, and this is a chance for Tottenham to show what they can do with a set piece near the left corner of the area, Paul.
A good spell of possession for Tottenham. PSG have grown into this game, started to dominate possession. Tottenham all of a sudden they've grabbed the impetus back and they've got themselves forwards. Pape Sarr's just won a free kick. What is it, 5 yards on the angle from the outside of the right-hand corner of the PSG penalty box. Kudus in deep conversation, I think it is, with Pedro Porro across there as to who's going to deliver it. PSG defenders all lined up between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box. Very congested penalty area.
Yep, they've not tested the new goalkeeper yet, have they? Lucas Chevalier, who is a couple of yards off his line, all in green. Tottenham with the free kick on the left-hand side. 4 players grouped towards the back of the box. But actually now they begin to move towards the near post. In it comes, takes a flick off ahead. But high over the bar, I think it was Palhinha who got the touch on that. Yeah, high over the crossbar and behind for a goal kick. And still Chevalier yet to be tested.
Yeah, it's been a good opening for the game for both sides. I think it's ebbed and flowed each way without either goalkeeper having a real save to make. There's been no real clear-cut attempts on target. The game's been played predominantly in the middle third.
And Lucas Chevalier, this 23-year-old goalkeeper, 40 million euros they paid for him from Lille. First choice for Lille for the last 3 seasons. League One goalkeeper of the year last season. And also, rather pleasingly, possibly the most famous Frenchman called Chevalier since Maurice. Here's Nuno Mendes, wins a free kick on the halfway line. Back to Bolton, Sheffield Wednesday, Tom Gale.
Equaliser for the hosts, Bolton 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Ball from the left, a diving back post header from Asayi 2-2. Bolton 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1.
So 1-1 there. Do you remember Maurice Chevalier, Paul?
Should I?
Gigi, the musical. Maurice Chevalier, famous French actor of a certain vintage. Here is Zaire Emery.
I think you lost me at the musical bit, John.
Left-footed ball out to the left-hand side. It's a brilliant film, actually. There's Kudus. Kudus now gets it down and then plays it back to Danzo. Kudus, £50 million after his 2 seasons at West Ham. We know he's a talented player when he gets a run on the ball, as Bentancur plays it back. And now Van de Ven, first time we've seen him come forward, and Van de Ven slips it forward to Spence trying to get the better of Achraf Hakimi, but that's easier said than done. Excellent defending from the Moroccan right back. Still Tottenham though, and it comes from Sarr all the way across the penalty area and through for a goal kick. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Tottenham 0, and back to Bolton again. Tom.
Bolton 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2. After less than 60 seconds after conceding, straight up the other end, Ike Ugbo sits down one of the defenders and calmly strokes it into the bottom corner. Bolton 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2.
Oh, that's carelessly given away by Hakimi. He's given it to Bentancur. Still the ball in the PSG defensive third, although Bentancur is being chased and harried, and actually by Zaire Emery, forces him to take it all the way back into his own half. What excellent play from the teenager.
Brilliant closing down, really was. The ball was given away once again cheaply by Hakimi, unlike the right fullback, but Zaire Emery, he put pressure on Bentancur midway through his own half and he pressed him all the way back into the Tottenham half, and the only option that he had, Bentancur, was to go back to his goalkeeper.
Let's check in on the Sports Extra 3 commentary match. Huddersfield against Leicester City. Sarah Mulkerrins is there for 5 Live.
Goalless here, 38 minutes gone. Huddersfield, they started fast, perhaps unlucky to have 2 penalty shouts waved away early on. Leicester, though, starting to pull the strings. 16-year-old Jeremy Monga on the left wing has had a couple of good chances, but has also been booked for diving. It is goalless between Huddersfield and Leicester.
Still Barnsley 1, Fleetwood 0, Cheltenham 1, Exeter 0, and Birmingham City winning 1-0 against Sheffield United. Also tonight, matches in the National League Cup, Scottish Challenge Cup. You will find details of that on the football pages of the BBC Sport website, as Vitinha is bundled over by Kudus, who is given a right kicking off by referee Pinero.
The ball had long gone. I'm not sure what Kudus was thinking. I think he's fed up of chasing Vitinha around the pitch. Vitinha played the ball back, played it back to his centre half. The ball was 5-10 yards away from him. Kudus came back right through the back, clattered into him right into the referee's nose.
It's Paul Robinson, former Tottenham and England goalkeeper, watching your former club on the back foot here, as Kvaratskhelia plays it back towards the halfway line. Scored one of the goals in the Champions League final. That was an extraordinary night, you know, when they win 5-0 against Inter in the Champions League final. Kudos though, forward to Richarlison, goes for goal early, and Chevalier has to make the save, which he does. Close enough to him, and he was actually retreating at the time. He was outside of his 6-yard box, but he got a right hand to it and helped it up and over the crossbar.
Chose a really high starting line, the goalkeeper. You could argue he's too high up the field trying to read the through ball. Kudus running at the defence, Richarlison getting in behind. Kudus puts a lovely weight on the through ball. Goalkeeper's slightly high up. Richarlison, he goes for goal straight at the goalkeeper. It's looking like it's going to go up and over him. It's a poor execution really from Richarlison. Chevalier really makes a mess of it. He's 5 yards off his goal. He should be closer back to his goal line, and he catches that. But instead, he's had to turn it over the bar for a Tottenham corner.
Yeah, that's the big change tonight. No Donnarumma, instead Chevalier playing for PSG. Here's the corner, which is taken in, headed across goal by Bentancur, but I think he slightly misjudged it, didn't he? And by the time he got his head to it, he could only direct it back across goal and behind for a goal kick.
Well, he was completely free, Bentancur, wasn't he? I mean, we talked about the set plays, and it's something that Tottenham have worked on. Loaded the near post very heavily. Bentancur made his run around the far post, ghosted in completely unmarked, got a free header, but actually mistimed his jump, just got under the ball. But again, more positivity from set plays from Tottenham.
Paris Saint-Germain 0, Tottenham 0 in the Super Cup match here in Udine. We thought it was a curious choice, Udine, compared to some of the cities that have hosted this match in recent years, like Warsaw last year, Athens the year before when Manchester City won it, Helsinki, Belfast when Chelsea won, Budapest, and Istanbul as well. That was a memorable night. Liverpool against Chelsea, and that one was decided on penalties, you might remember. But Udinese, the home ground of Udinese, was a bit of a surprise until we learned yesterday that actually only one club had bid for it. So that explains why it is here, slightly off the beaten track. But the Tottenham supporters, they've never had the chance to watch their team in this match before, so they have taken up the 6,700 tickets and possibly one or two more as well. So we've got the first water break of the night, Paul, as we knew there would be, with the temperature having been well into the 30s today. But what have you made of it so far? 25 minutes played, Paris Saint-Germain 0, Tottenham 0.
Listen, trying to stay away from the cliches, but I think both teams have had equal chances, equal opportunities. It's been a fairly even game so far. I think Tottenham started really positively. We can certainly see Thomas Frank's fingerprints on this with the set plays and not afraid to go more direct. I think they've had the better of the possession at times. PSG have grown into the game. Like we spoke about before the game, it's very, very difficult for Paris Saint-Germain. There is a rule, isn't there, which I know you know the exact law of it, of when a season finishes, a player has to have a certain amount of time off.
3 weeks after a major tournament.
And they have to have that time off. So PSG, it's been very difficult for them. After the Club World Cup final, there's been no pre-season games. This is the end of their second week training. So this is the stage normally in pre-season where players would be playing 45 to 60 minutes and then taking a rest, but instead they're playing a Super Cup final and their league starts next week, so they're in uncharted territory really, which does give Tottenham the edge.
Yes, they start their defence of the League One title on Sunday away to Nantes, and actually I was just having a look today because Paris FC are now in the top flight in France, and they don't play Paris FC, whose home ground is just over the road from the Parc des Princes, until January. But then, intriguingly, the last league match of the season for PSG is against Paris FC, as William Pacho is being put under pressure by Danso, and he's forced to turn it out for a throw down the right.
Yeah, much to Thomas Frank's delight. He spent the whole evening right on the edge of his technical area, but when Tottenham press is out there, he's encouraging, he's shouting orders onto the pitch, and the press there from Kudus, Thomas Frank, arms above his head, clapping furiously, gives Tottenham another opportunity to hurl this Danso long throw.
It's 0-0 here in the Stadio Friuli. Danso takes this long throw in, which is headed up and away by Hakimi, finds its way back to the throw-in taker. Danso, right-footed in from him. Marquinhos comes forward, heads it down, got there ahead of Kudus, and then Bentancur on the halfway line will pass it back to Vicario, who goes long. Pedro Porro, so it goes shoulder to shoulder with Nuno Mendes, and Nuno Mendes is able to get the ball down. He's wiry and strong, isn't he, Nuno Mendes? As Chevalier has to be quick there, the PSG goalkeeper, but he was with as he was very quickly closed down, but was able to clear it away to the halfway line.
There's a lot of pressure on him, Chevalier. I mean, that's been the talk of the PSG press conferences, the press, the build-up to this game, all about Donnarumma and the big decision that the manager Enrique's made. He said the club have supported him, it's a decision that he's made. But Chevalier coming in, there's a big price tag now, and there's also a huge expectation, and eyes are going to be on him. Everybody's going to be watching. The slightest mistake is, well, we should have kept Donnarumma. Why isn't Donnarumma playing?
Yep. Very big call, and he did say last night it was a difficult decision for Luis Enrique, but that's you live and die, don't you, in footballing terms, when you make those decisions. Excellent play from Dembele on the halfway line, control, and then sets Barcola away, and he's into the penalty area, and Barcola's ball across was cut out by a sliding Sarr. Both Danso and Sarr actually defended it pretty well against the flying Barcola, but it's PSG's first corner.
That's just superb attacking play from Dembele. 10 yards inside his own half, turns the ball on a sixpence, reverses the pass into Barcola, who's immediately running into the Tottenham Hotspur 18-yard box. Danso gets back and he makes the block eventually, but in two passes PSG are in the 18-yard box just from a beautiful piece of play from Dembele.
So it's a corner that Vitinha is going to take. He cups his ears, actually. Barcola was down on his haunches in the penalty area. Now he's got his hands on his knees, and they're crowding Vicario. 4 players in there for PSG. Marquinhos is a threat, of course, as well from a set piece. So PSG corner, Vitinha takes it, and there haven't been too many signs of rustiness yet, but that was one, because he's overhit it beyond everyone. For PSG, I'm meaning. And Jed Spence back to Vicario, who plays it left-footed up to Richarlison, who's able to take it down and actually take it away from Marquinhos, and still in the centre circle. But here's Pedro Porro now, white shirts arriving, but I think 1 or 2 groans from the Tottenham supporters there. Could have gone gung-ho there, but actually checked back and waited for support, and it's come to nothing.
I think there's a situation where they were 4-on-4 at one point there. Richarlison did really well, turned defence into attack very quickly, had support from Pedro Porro on the right hand side, and instead of driving forward into space, he chose to turn back, recycle the ball and keep possession, much to the disgruntlement of the Tottenham fans.
Paris Saint-Germain 0, Tottenham 0. Matches in the 100 tonight as well. You can follow those on BBC TV. A lot of games in the One Day Cup as well. All the results and details on the cricket pages of the website. It's like cricket weather here, isn't it? They have qualified, haven't they, for the Cricket World Cup? Italy might not qualify for the Football World Cup. We'll see about that during the course of the autumn. But it is sweltering, Paul, isn't it? I mean, this microphone, this lip microphone is just slipping around in
you got a sweaty top lip, John.
My sweaty hands.
It is, I can vouch for you. The last couple of days it really has been. It's been humid as well, hasn't it? Very difficult to escape the heat.
Yes, we'll have to get the wipes out post-match. Here is...
Our engineer Phil's looking at it. He's going to have to clean up this equipment.
Yes, I think so.
He's looking at your top lip very closely now.
Yes. There's a foul on Doué, the brilliant Doué, he's a teenager no longer. Desiré Doué turned 20 during the course of the summer, shortly after the Champions League final, actually, but 2 goals in the final. And now Hakimi, who we've not seen get forward too much, and we know how dangerous he can play, scorer of the first goal in the Champions League final. But again, more signs of rustiness there, as it's given away by PSG, but then given away by Tottenham as well. So PSG will come again with the number 14, Desiré Doué, moving from left to right. Kvaratskhelia, and then a slit in centre field by Zaire Emery, and that means that Tottenham might be away on the counter-attack with Sarr. Zaire Emery tried to chase him, so he plays it square to Porro. Porro then back infield. Kudus controls this. Kudus 30 yards out, but the pass is just a little short. Although Spence does well, slides in, works it back, and then Vitinha was in position to block it and play it back towards the halfway line. Still in play though, and Tottenham attack once more. Van der Ven coming forward with it. Then centrally, just ahead of the centre circle, to the tall, bearded Uruguayan Rodrigo Bentancur. Now Porro's cross from the right is allowed to run by Pacho. Kudus with a shot. That's blocked by Marquinhos, who read the danger there actually after it was missed by Pacho, and the PSG captain blocked the shot from Kudus.
That's a wonderful block, that by Marquinhos, using all his experience. He gave Pacho a shout. He said, leave it, I'm going to head it. It was a really poor header from Marquinhos, straight to the feet of Kudus, who looked for all the world, just about to pull the trigger and fire it into the bottom corner. Marquinhos comes flying out, spreads himself and makes a brilliant block.
Equaliser for Fleetwood. Barnsley 1, Fleetwood 1. I have to say I felt for Tommy Fleetwood on Sunday night, but what a win that was for Justin Rose, as Kvaratskhelia comes forward down the right hand side, played back to Hakimi, then to Zaire Emery, worked back to Vitinha. PSG with possession inside the Tottenham half, still waiting for the first goal of this Super Cup match. Kvaratskhelia, a lovely languid play from him. Then it's worked across from the right hand side, but Vicario, diving forward, was able to catch the ball right at grass level.
Yeah, difficult one for Vicario to take. Good hands from the goalkeeper. He's been fairly redundant in this first half. It's all about concentration for Vicario at the moment. The game been played very much in the middle 2/3 of the pitch.
Tottenham with the ball at the back. Of course, this is building up to the first weekend of the new Premier League season, when Tottenham will be playing Burnley. You'll be there, won't you? Home to Burnley on Saturday. That's one of our many commentary matches. 6 Premier League commentary matches this opening weekend. You'll hear on 5 Live or Sports Extra, as we start 4 seasons where we are bringing you more Premier League commentaries each season than we ever have done before. Also covering the Carabao Cup tonight. What's the latest at Huddersfield? Sarah Mulkerrins.
Goalless at the break, John. The League One side, they started brightly. Rushkin and Kasumo were causing trouble in the area, both brought down, but penalty shouts were waved away. Rushkin as well later, he fired just inches over from outside the area. Leicester, though, they've started to dominate. 16-year-old Jeremy Monga is living up to his promise, and they also forced Huddersfield into goal line clearance just with the last play of the half. So at the break, it's Huddersfield 0, Leicester 0.
As PSG come forward, Dembele dummied as if to shoot there, but Paulinho was able to do well actually. He read it, and then Richarlison thought he'd been fouled as he brought it away. No free kick given, and so Dembele looking for Hakimi, but Jet Spence was sharp. He had to be, played it back to goalkeeper Vicario, who passed it out of play near the halfway line. Also half-time, Bolton Sheffield Wednesday. Tom Gale.
Bolton 1, Wednesday 2. Lively this one, John. Sequeira with a screamer for the visitors. Straight red for Bolton teenager Inwood. Denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. Aseu 2-2 equalising with his head before Ugbo calmly put the championship side back in front. Half-time, Bolton 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2.
Kvaratskhelia crossing for PSG. It was cleared away straight to Dembele. Came at him quickly, and he, with a snap shot, hit it high over the top of the bar with his left foot.
Kind of half a clearance it was from Van der Ven, wasn't it? Arrived at his feet very quickly. Bit of a snap shot. PSG, you can see flashes of play, but at the moment they're a little bit clunky, aren't they? You can see they're not that finely tuned product that they were at the end of last season, and understandably so.
Is that their best chance yet?
You would say so, yeah. The first clear-cut opportunity that they've had a strike towards the goal.
So 0-0 with 10 minutes to play. Let me tell you as well, no extra time tonight, so it's like the Community Shield on Sunday. If it is still level after 90 minutes and added time, it will be straight to a penalty shootout, and also for this one, 5 substitutes per team allowed tonight. Also half-time, Barnsley 1, Fleetwood 1, and Cheltenham still winning 1-0 against Exeter City. So League 2 Cheltenham 1-0 up there, as Chevalier passes the ball out to Nuno Mendes. Barcola comes short, tried to give it him back, but the Tottenham's closing down. Their work rate has been a feature of the match so far.
Yeah, they set the press on the front foot, and the press really starts from the technical area. It's Thomas Frank. You can see him, he's very animated, and you can see what he's trying to instill into the players. Richarlison and Kudus, for me, it's not really quite worked up front. I mean, Richarlison's been the figurehead, with Kudus kind of floating around him. No real defensive responsibility for Kudus as yet.
Kvaratskhelia on the right-hand side, lifts the ball across, it's above Dembele, got it well, but not high enough. Zaire Emery, Hakimi on the edge of the area, he shoots, that's blocked away by Paulinho, out of play for a throw-in to PSG down the right. Still 0-0. 5 Live We're on the BBC Sounds app as well. You can listen to 5 Live there, and indeed on BBC London as well tonight. Lots of white shirts, Tottenham white shirts, around the corner, sort of horseshoeing that far side of the ground, around the corner of the stadium, as PSG have the ball halfway inside Tottenham territory with Nuno Mendes. Bentancur is able to get a foot in on that though, and then Pedro Porro, little pass forward for Kudus to chase. Nuno Mendes, strong again from him, but Kudus also strong, getting as good as he's getting, and in the end the free kick is given Tottenham's way. I think just wrestled to the ground in the end, Kudus by Nuno Mendes.
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup, these two. Battle of strength. Kudus wins it that time, holds the ball up really well, got his back to Mendes, doesn't allow the fullback to get round him, retains possession and wins a free kick again on the halfway line. Thomas Frank below is absolutely delighted once again with the way that his team are pressing and holding the ball. But once again, Vicario on the halfway line.
Yeah, it's been a feature. So the goalkeeper comes up to take this free kick for Tottenham. Incidentally, Ilya Zabani recently signed this week from Bournemouth. He's not involved yet for PSG. So, but at that price tag, you'd expect him to threaten. Free kick then from Vicario, bounces into the penalty area, shot deflected against the bar, and then the follow-up is in. Van de Ven scores the opening goal for Tottenham and for Thomas Frank in the Super Cup. The initial shot brilliantly deflected onto the crossbar, but it fell very nicely for Van de Ven just outside the 6-yard box to make it Paris Saint-Germain 0, Tottenham 1. It's not going to be another trophy for Tottenham, is it?
And it's a centre-half, Mickey Van de Ven, up from the back. Once again, it's a long, direct free kick from Vicario this time, right to the far post. Romero it is who heads it back into the 18-yard box. Paulinho gets there first. There's a bit of a scramble. Marquinhos and Van de Ven it is who both go for the header. Falls to Paulinho, kind of a volley towards the goal. Chevalier makes a wonderful save onto his crossbar. That really is one of the best reaction saves that you can make. But for the goalkeeper's dismay, he looks up and there's Mickey Van de Ven. He was involved with the initial contact with Marquinhos. Ball falls to Paulinho. Goalkeeper makes a brilliant save, but there's Mickey Van de Ven. Taps home the rebound after a wonderful save. Tottenham go 1-0 up from a set play.
So in his first competitive match as the new Tottenham head coach, it is Mickey Van de Ven who scores his first goal and gives Tottenham the lead over the Champions League holders in this Super Cup match. Mickey Van de Ven, who has not scored since his first season, didn't score at all last season, and it just fell to him perfectly. As you say, Paul, super save, super reaction save from Paulinho's close-range volley.
Chevalier, what a save that was. You can't watch that enough. I mean, it was so close from Paulinho. He must have thought he'd scored. It was almost behind the goalkeeper. His reaction's incredible. He tips it up and onto the bar, only for the ball to hit the underside of the bar, bounce just outside the 6-yard box, and Mickey Van de Ven, who was there with the original contact, turns it into the back of the net to give Tottenham the lead.
Paris Saint-Germain 0, Tottenham 1. In recent years, the Champions League holders have had a real grip on this match. 11 of the last 12 have been won by the Champions League holders, but it is Tottenham Hotspur, the Europa League winners, who've scored the opening goal. And for Thomas Frank, I think to come from, he talked to us yesterday about structure, working on structure. We saw the work that he's been doing on set pieces. For it to come from a set piece like that, most pleasing for the head coach. And
what that does in the dressing room, John, that's instant credibility amongst the players. When you do something as a manager and it comes off on the pitch, not necessarily when you win games, but actually patterns of play, passages of play, set plays leading to a goal, everyone goes, I like this, what he's telling us is right. It's instant credibility among the dressing room, and everybody's buying into what he's doing straight away, and it's brilliant for Thomas Frank.
Well, you will be able to see the clips later and in the morning on the BBC Sport website, and indeed the highlights as well. Oh, excellent, Barcola, he's away from Porro into the penalty area, but two men there, Van de Ven and Danso, a sort of mid-5, from the two Tottenham defenders for the work that they did on Barcola there, deflecting it behind for a corner.
You mentioned his stats there, Barcola, but I mean, the eye test on him, he's incredible, isn't he? He's so quick, he's so fast. He went past Pedro Porro. Pedro Porro tripped over his own shoelaces.
Corner then, Vitinha to take this. He got the first one all wrong, actually takes this short to Dembele. Vitinha is available, it's Doué though. Doué with a shot that's deflected, which took it wide of goal, bounced 6-7 yards wide of the right post as he looked at it from near the edge of the penalty area. Doué in that position, alarm bells are ringing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking at the Tottenham players, I'm looking at Sarr, I'm looking at Vicario, Romero. There's voices in there now, there's leaders in that box, there's game management involved now. Not often last season did we see Tottenham retreat into a defensive shape. There was no kind of organisation, which is what we're seeing.
Corner from the right hand this side, short to Dembele, then flick into the box by Doué and Richarlison, who always loves to get involved in, well, whatever he can get involved in. Allows the ball to run behind next to the Tottenham fans and then says to them, come on, throws his arms up in the air, they give him a cheer, and off he goes, happy, to the halfway line.
That's been another thing that I've noticed with this Tottenham side. Out of possession, they've been quite happy to sit in a defensive shape. They've not gone gun-ho, whereas before, last season, we saw them play with Archie Gray and Dragusin as two centre-halves, and they were exposed because the full-backs bombed on, the midfield left them exposed, and there was nobody in and around them, whereas now, this Thomas Frank Tottenham team, out of possession, the back five get in position, the midfield drop, and they sit as a unit and say, go on then, break us down. Early signs are positive.
Yeah. There will be a full TV highlights programme on, actually, with the best moments from this match tonight after the news on BBC One, and then a Premier League preview after that. And, Wayne Rooney is part of that programme tonight as well, so that's on the television. Here on the radio, it is Kudus, lovely, takes it away down the right towards the byline, but the cross is overhit beyond Spence, who was the last man, but he's able to keep it in over there on the left-hand side. Spence playing instead of the still not quite fit Udogie, who's not among the substitutes tonight, and then Spence as well plays the ball off Hakimi and wins Tottenham a throw-in down the left-hand side as half-time approaches.
I think he's a player, Jed Spence, that you've got to give a lot of credit to. I mean, he was out of the reckoning, wasn't he? He's out on loan, that seemingly had no future at Tottenham. Came back in last season, worked on himself, worked on his game. New managers come in, giving him a fresh start, and I think you've got to give him a lot of credit. He's showing finally the potential that Tottenham saw in him when they initially signed him.
Yes, here in Italy, wasn't he? At Genoa. Throw-in, another long throw, 10 yards back from the corner flag, this time from the left-hand side, so Danso is lining up to take this, and lots of movement inside the PSG box, with Tottenham leading by 1-0. It's a loopy one, this, but Kvaratskhelia is able to head it away. Bentancur back to Danso, plays it centrally. Spence is going to have a go from distance. It hits Doué, 1 minute of added time to be played. Ball into the air, Richarlison heads it on, it's headed down against the post and then bounces wide. Kudus would have been ruled offside. The flag goes up, and if he'd been able to head it in rather than against the post, it wouldn't have counted.
Yeah, I think that was one where we were waiting for the assistant on this near side to raise his flag. I think there was an offside earlier on in the play. You could see the assistant kind of half holding his flag in the air, but frustratingly, because of the way that we play the game, had to hold the flag down. Kudus thought he had an opportunity, hit the base of the post, but again, it's Tottenham showing some real forward intent.
So Tottenham leading through the Mickey van de Ven goal in the 40th minute, I think it was. 39th minute, coming from the free kick near the halfway line. Aaron Lennon is back in the studio on 5 Live with Steve Crossman, so we'll get a view from Aaron during the half-time break, as well as going around all of the first-round matches, the remaining first-round matches in the Carabao Cup. But there is the half-time whistle here in sweltering Udine. Thomas Frank turns away a big sheaf of paper in his left hand. Lots of ticks on there, particularly for the opening goal in the 40th minute from Mickey van de Ven, Paul Robinson.
Yeah, I'll be very pleased, Thomas Frank, with what you've seen. You can see his little things that he's trying to put into the team. Not afraid to go longer, not putting the ball at risk in certain areas. Last season, when they were maybe playing out and overplaying from the back, causing themselves too many problems rather than getting benefit from it, what they were hoping to do. I think playing longer, playing direct, the set plays, the long throws are a clear addition, and I think the team structure and the togetherness is something that we're seeing a lot more of as well.
Yeah, well, togetherness, we're seeing that right now on the pitch down there. We've seen it several times tonight. We've had huddle after huddle, haven't we, from Tottenham, and we're having another one even before they leave the pitch at the start of the second half. Rather than just walking off in dribs and drabs, all of the players gather together in a group, and there's a few words being said, and then they walk off together and disappear down the tunnel, which has the image of the UEFA Super Cup on it, which might be being lifted by Christian Romero tonight. However, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Tottenham 1 at half-time.
Paul Robinson, that is so impressive. And also, they just look like they've been playing under Thomas Frank for a long time, don't they? It just seems strange for it to have come together in such a smooth way in 45 minutes.
Yeah, immediately you can see an identity, you can see a game plan, and you can see a structure. You don't see players in white shirts going gung-ho to try and win a football match and run over the top of the other team. There's an acceptance of being out of possession at times, being comfortable not having the ball, but being comfortable in a defensive structure where you know you can close down in certain areas. I mean, set plays have been a huge addition, and quite noticeable addition. The long throw from Kevin Danso playing in certain areas, and you can see, like I say, you can see, we talk about identities. This Thomas Frank team is going to have a number of identities, because when they play against teams like PSG, so-called better teams, and Tottenham will be the inferior side, they'll set up in a way and say, go on then, break us down and we'll beat you on the break and we'll find a way of affecting you. Whereas last season Tottenham didn't have that. They didn't have a way of affecting another team. They had plan A. If plan A didn't work, they did plan A a little bit faster. If that didn't work, they did plan A a little bit faster with different personnel.
Aaron, we'll probably have more time to get into this particular subject at full time, but I'm just picking up on something that Paul said in commentary, which is the idea of instant buy-in. The Super Cup in of itself will be a great thing for Tottenham to win. It's a really famous trophy, it's a historic trophy, and I know it's a one-off game and X, Y and Z can be said. But instant buy-in.
Yeah.
If Spurs win this particularly, if they beat the European champions, that's what Thomas Frank's getting.
100%. And like Robbo said there, instantly players buying into these long throws and hitting it into the box from deep, from Vicario, as we've seen. These players are not used to doing this, and at first, as a player, you start questioning these things. Especially if you play for a team like Tottenham, you're used to getting it out and playing it all nice football. Whereas the manager's going, no, we're not doing that anymore. We're going to put it in the box. We've seen every opportunity they've got it out wide. It's crosses. They've hit crosses in. They've hit lots of crosses. And when you start this and it starts working and you start winning football matches, if they can go on to win this game today, I'm telling you, this will be a massive win for Thomas Frank and for Spurs.
On the goal, Paul. Not just Van de Ven with the finish, but there was a bit of nous, I thought, about João Palhinha. I actually thought it would get ruled out because of the kind of way he sort of shifts his body into Marquinhos, but he obviously sold it well enough.
It's clever. I mean, it's a routine straight off the training ground. It wasn't just, listen, we talk about a long direct ball. It's not a long direct hoof up the field. It's goalkeepers that have got the quality to play longer passes into areas. So they were structured on the edge of the box, and it was a diagonal long pass from Vicario onto the head of Romero, who headed it across the 18-yard box. Everybody knew their position. Everybody knew where they needed to be. Paulinho made first contact with Marquinhos. What a save it was by Chevalier, by the way, onto the crossbar. It was an incredible save. The goalkeeper's so unlucky, but then the following in, the ability to read the situation, and Van de Ven was there. Listen, that will give Thomas Frank a lot of credibility. One of his set plays, maybe one that you would say, it's been lumped from distance. It's worked. It's not just a lump from distance. It's a constructive way of finding the way into the opposition's net.
Yeah, like you said, he's worked, and I really like the way, like you said, Rob, the way they've sat in. I think we counted all the back team. Kudos and Richarlison was in near enough just outside their own 18-yard box at times, and sometimes you're going to have to do that. And like you said, in the past, they have not done this. So Thomas Frank, you can see, he's got in early, and this is why pre-season is always great to get in early, because you get the games, you get to work on the training pitch, you get the 6 to 7 weeks to get your new tactics and get the information across. And so far, I've been really impressed with Spurs.
And just having given them all the praise in the world, I did want to ask this question, but I thought I'd wait till the very end of our first half-time chat, Aaron.
Yeah.
You said before the game, watch out for PSG looking like a team in the first week of pre-season. They do look like that.
100%. You've seen it there. Some of the players, I don't think Dembele's had a sprint. I've seen him dropping in deep. I don't think he's even gone into the penalty area. And they do look like that. They look rusty. They've just come off the holidays. The players are looking like we don't really need this game today, even though it, like you said, it is a big fixture. But like you said, the first week back into pre-season to have this game, you're miles off it, and they look miles off it tonight.
OK, Paul, John, thank you very much for the time being. Half-time in the Super Cup final, PSG 0. Tottenham Hotspur 1. We've got League Cup first round ties going on tonight as well. Half-time whistle at St Andrews. Birmingham, Sheffield United. Charlie Slater.
Birmingham 1, Sheffield United 0, and that is being kind on the visitors. Kyogo scored his first Blues goal inside 5 minutes. He took advantage of some sloppy work at the back. He should have scored possibly 3 more. Gray should have 2. Cannon hit the post late on for the visitors, but Birmingham irresistible. Sheffield United floundering. Somehow it's only 1-0 at the break.
Thank you very much, Charlie. Other live scores for you in the 7:45 kickoffs. Barnsley 1, Fleetwood 1, Bolton 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2, Cheltenham 1, Exeter City 0, Huddersfield 0, Leicester City 0. That game between Huddersfield and Leicester is live on Sports Extra 3. You'll get the second half of Birmingham Sheffield United on Sports Extra 2. Remember, you can only listen to them via BBC Sounds. The 100 continues right now. We've got Welsh Fire against Manchester Originals at Sophia Gardens. Ed Seaborn is watching.
Well, at the moment, it is looking like Joss Butler or bust as far as the Manchester Originals are concerned. They need 59 runs from the remaining 35 balls in this match. As far as the Welsh Fire are concerned, Riley Meredith, the Australian speedster, has been the star of the show so far, with 3 wickets for just 9 runs conceded in the 15 runs that he has bowled, including the vital wicket of Phil Salt for 3. Joss Butler is 47 not out, and the Originals need 59 runs from 35 balls.
And I realise this completely jinxes Joss Butler, but this is just the kind of situation that he absolutely laps up, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Originals, when they've had success, Joss Butler's been scoring the runs, and it's what he does for whatever team he plays for around the world, whether that be England or the many franchise teams that he's got. He's scored 47 out of the 79 runs, but if you're going to have a team on anybody's back, I think Joss Butler's a pretty good person to have in this situation.
Absolutely. Ed, thank you. 5 Sports Extra right now if you want the commentary. So we'll be back in Udine for the second half of the Super Cup final. Spurs leading PSG by 1-0. We'll also hear from the 72-plus team, and we'll keep you up to date with all of the first round scores in the League Cup tonight. We'll do all of that after the news with Bethan Holmes.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
European allies of Ukraine say they've agreed a united position with the US on what they want to come out of Donald Trump's meeting with Vladimir Putin on Friday. After a conference call with President Trump, Sir Keir Starmer says there's now a viable chance of a ceasefire in Ukraine. Mr. Trump says he's meeting with the Russian president in Alaska, which could be followed by a second one, with President Zelensky being invited to that one after missing out on an invitation this week. Donald Trump's been speaking to reporters.
Will Russia face any consequences if Vladimir Putin does not agree to stop the war after your meeting on Friday?
Yes, they will. Yeah.
What will the consequences
there will be?
Sanctions, tariffs?
There will be, I don't have to say, there will be very severe consequences, yes.
A man who helped plan the Manchester Arena bombing, Hashim Abedi, has been charged with attempting to murder 3 prison officers and assaulting a 4th. It follows an incident at HMP Franklin back in April. A 16-year-old girl and 2 boys, aged 14 and 15, have appeared in court charged with the murder of a man on the Isle of Sheppey. They were detained following an altercation in Laysdown-on-Sea on Sunday night. Alexander Cashford, who was 49, was found with serious injuries and died at the scene. These people live nearby.
I just don't understand it. I can't believe it.
We always take the dogs for a walk around the beach, and being so close to the beach and so close to caravan parks, it is surprising.
I feel very nervous now walking around the area, to be fair with you. I mean, I've lived here for 15 years and now I don't feel safe.
The number of people in the UK visiting the most popular pornography sites has fallen sharply since age checks were introduced. The rules came in July to protect under 18s. One of the most popular sites has seen a 47% decrease in traffic since then. And Claire's has collapsed into administration, putting over 2,000 jobs at risk. It has more than 270 shops in the UK, but has been struggling with falling sales and competition.
We are back with the Fantasy 606 podcast. Whoa, Chris, I've got to stop you there. We have changed our name this season to the FPL podcast from BBC Sport. All you need to do is search for FPL, and if you already subscribe to our podcast, you don't need to do anything at all. Chris, have a guess what the code to join the BBC Sport League is. Was it 5E? It's BBC FPL. Oh, yeah. Come and play the game with us as we continue to teach Chris about Fantasy Premier League.
The FPL podcast from BBC Sport. Listen on BBC Sounds. This is 5 Live Sports with Steve Crossman. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Welcome back to Wednesday's 5 Live Sport. We're bringing you full commentary from Udine of the Super Cup final, and Tottenham Hotspur lead the European champions Paris Saint-Germain at half-time by 1-0. Thanks to Mickey van der Ven. Second half commentary on the way very, very shortly. We've had a goal in the League Cup first round in the game between Huddersfield and Leicester. Sarah Mulcairns.
The deadlock has been broken, and it's been broken by the visitors. Hazma Chowdhury inside the area, lovely right-footed swerving effort across the face of goal, top corner, a brilliant effort from the guy who has the captain's armband tonight with their 7 changes. So it is Huddersfield 0, Leicester 1.
And another goal has just gone in at Cheltenham. So Cheltenham now lead Exeter City by 2-0. They are 10 minutes into the second half. Their second half commentary on the way very shortly from the Super Cup. And we are going to hear now about the latest episode of 72 Plus, available on BBC Sounds, with reaction to last night's League Cup first round matches. League 2 Bromley produced arguably the shock of the round so far. They beat Ipswich on penalties after a 1-1 draw, although Doncaster Rovers winning 4-0 at Middlesbrough might push it close as well. Bromley owner and chair Robin Stanton-Gleaves joined Aaron Paul and Joby McAnuff to reflect on a huge night for the club.
Somebody asked me what I hoped for the evening, and I said that I hoped that we represented ourselves well against a top team. I hope that every player gave 110, 115%. If they all did that, then you never know what might happen. I think that's pretty much what did happen.
Robin, I just want to touch on Andy Woodman, and I think those of us around sort of the EFL and been following your progress, obviously below that, prior to that, know what a brilliant job he's done. Is there any concern from your point of view that he's now probably starting to get a little bit more attention from wider areas of the game? And again, maybe people now actually really recognising not the job that he's done so far, but also the job he's doing right now.
It's a really good point, Joby. I think one of the challenges I have as the owner and chairman, when you've got your manager in place, the downside of him doing well is the ambition that he might have elsewhere with others looking at him and looking at what he's doing. I'm surprised, if I'm honest, that he hasn't had more attention up till now. My job, of course, is to keep him focused and motivated and contracted at Bromley Football Club and continue the journey that we're on. But I'm a realist, and I guess it's a double-sided sword almost, in the fact that the success that Bromley brings via Andy Woodman is a success for him in the other part of his career, should it wish to progress with somebody else.
What about for you going forward now? What's your plan? What's your end game? Obviously, everyone's got a glass ceiling that they want to operate to. What do you want? What else do you want to achieve? What do you want to do?
I think it's carrying on the journey we're on. There is an end game, but the end game is to ensure that there's a legacy of a football club that is established in the Football League, that represents the town of Bromley and can get to a sustainable position within what football allows it to be, and for the town and the people and the supporters all to look forward to that weekend, that Tuesday night game, and come together, whether it's the players on the pitch, the crowd or the supporting, or the wider community with all the activities that are going around the club that feature in the heart of the town. I think that's what I'll look back on and say, yeah, I probably was the leader in achieving that, and it's got a legacy going forward.
That was Bromley owner and chair Robin Stanton-Gleaves. A reminder that the latest episode of 72 Plus is available right now on the Football Daily podcast on BBC Sounds. League Cup second round draw took place earlier this evening, and Bromley are going to be at home to League One Wickham. Tie of the round, Grimsby Town of League Two host Manchester United. There are 2 All Premier League ties. Bournemouth host Brentford. Wolves are at home to West Ham. You can see the full draw on the BBC Sport website and app. Elsewhere, Leeds have agreed a deal for former Everton striker Dominic Calvert-Lewin. They're signing him as a free agent. Bournemouth have signed French centre-back Bafode Diakite for £30 million. And Howard Webb said the scope of VAR in the Premier League might be expanded to include decisions on yellow cards and corners. He says IFAB, who make the rules, are looking at how VAR operates, and he is open to discussions about future use. Right, once we get to full-time in the Super Cup, remember we might have penalties after the full-time whistle. Then you'll get reaction with myself, with Aaron Lennon, and also with Paul Robinson and John Murray, your commentary team in Udine. And we're almost ready for kick-off, John.
Yes, thank you, Steve. And just to understate it, if you weren't listening earlier, no extra time in the Super Cup, so if it was level after the 90 minutes and out of time, it would be a penalty shootout, as Steve says. PSG have been out there waiting for a little while, haven't they? Paul, Luis Enrique sending them out. No changes at the break, so Chevalier in goal. There's a Donnarumma. Fabian Ruiz is only on the bench. João Neves suspended. Ilya Zabani not eligible for this yet, the new signing this week. So Chevalier in goal, Hakimi, Marquinhos, Pacho and Nuno Mendes, then Vitinha and Zaire Emery, then Kvaratskhelia on the right, Barkla on the left, Dembele and Doué through the middle. And the Tottenham team, Vicario the goalkeeper, the Udinese born Vicario, as PSG kick off, and Vitinha has smashed it straight downfield and behind for a goal kick.
It's an interesting one.
I think I've seen him do that before.
I think I've seen him do that before, but I think he was aiming for the other side of the corner flag, so he could go and press Tottenham from a throw-in right next to their own corner flag. I'm not so sure that that's worked out quite as well as Vitinha wanted. Gives Vicario the opportunity of a goal kick now. And as we know, this new Tottenham, they don't roll goal kicks across the 6-yard box anymore.
Is a very good point, Paul Robinson. So Vicario the goalkeeper. Three central defenders, Danso, Romero and Van de Ven. Porro and Spence as the wing-backs. Bentancur, Palhinha, Sarr, Kudus and Richarlison. And the only goal of this Super Cup match so far scored by Tottenham's Mickey Van de Ven shortly before half-time. So Tottenham on course to win the Super Cup in their first appearance in this match. There will be a new name on the trophy tonight. Tottenham coming forward, all in white, ball into the box. Pacho controls it, plays it away. It's headed back forward by Porro, but will bounce through to goalkeeper Chevalier. Barnsley are now in front against Fleetwood by 2-1. 7:45 kick-off that one in the Carabao Cup, as the ball bounces to Richarlison on the edge of the area, shoots from the angle. Chevalier is able to make the save, close enough to him, just parried it away. PSG clear, and Tottenham go back towards the halfway line. So yes, Barnsley winning 2-1 against Fleetwood, as there is a foul on goal scorer Van de Ven, 15 yards inside the PSG half, and a free kick to Tottenham and another set piece chance.
Uncharacteristically loose in possession, PSG once again in their own defensive quarter. Mendes it is this time, gives the ball away. Tottenham are quick, they're sharp into the press. PSG looking like a team who are first week of pre-season at the moment, and for want of a better phrase, they're looking a little bit clunky, aren't they? It's not really gelling for them, whether it be passes in their own third, passes in the final third, the movement in and out of the pitch. Take nothing away from Tottenham, because they played very, very well, but we're not seeing a normal performance, what we'd expect from PSG.
No, the talent and the quality is still there, but you're absolutely right, Paul. Free kick to be taken by Pedro Porro this time. Curls it in towards the back post. Romero heads it across. Chevalier couldn't keep it out, and it's 2-0 to Tottenham. He got his hands to it, the new PSG goalkeeper, diving down to his left, but through his hands into the net, and the new captain Romero makes it Paris Saint-Germain 0, Tottenham 2, and what a night this is turning out to be in Udine for Thomas Frank.
Well, that's 2 out of the 3 centre-backs that have scored tonight from exactly the same source. It's a free kick, not as deep this time. It's Pedro Porro. Romero once again is the target at the far post. This time he finds himself completely free. He decides not to head it back across the 6-yard box, yet he goes for goal. He heads the ball down and across Chevalier, who in all honesty makes a real mess of it. He goes to try and shovel it forwards with 2 hands. Mid-save he changes his mind and tries to push the ball wide. The goalkeeper's really not covered himself in glory there. He's made a real mess of that. But Romero and Tottenham don't care. It's another free kick, it's another set play, it's another header from Romero, and it's another goal for Tottenham.
2-0 to Tottenham. A goal towards the end of the first half. I think VAR have had a look at it, and it was close-ish, but I think Romero was onside. Well, he was, because the goal stands.
It's exactly the same as the first goal. When you tune into the BBC tonight and watch the highlights of this game, the free kick that led to the first goal, Vicario deep to the far post to Romero. That time Romero heads it back across goal. This time free kick slightly more central. Porro lifts it to the far post to Romero, the same target. He can't believe the space he's got. Instead of going across the goal, he thinks, I'm going to take my chances. He takes his chances and he gets lucky. The goalkeeper was really, really poor, but Romero doesn't care.
Well, we did touch on it, didn't we? I can't remember on 5 Live whether it was Julian Laron or whether it was you, Paul, who mentioned, should the goalkeeper having been brought in for, and Donnarumma seemingly dispensed with, lets one in like that, and that's exactly what's happened.
Donnarumma doesn't let that in. Donnarumma saves that.
Kvaratskhelia, other end, into the box, the touch took it a little too far, and in came the challengers anyway. And it was the man who's just scored the second goal, Romero, who blocked it behind from Kvaratskhelia for a PSG corner.
Yeah, going back to the goalkeeper, Chevalier, you watch it tonight, you see he goes one with his hands flat to almost scoop and shovel the ball away, changes mid-save.
Dembele now with a cross. Kvaratskhelia with his back to goal went for an overhead kick. Defender came in, a high foot, it caught the Tottenham player, and now Kvaratskhelia has actually fallen over Van de Ven, who was on the ground, and ended up, there was a little bit of pushing and shoving in there. And referee Pinheiro.
Do you know what Richarlison's done there? Kvaratskhelia, he's walking backwards. Van de Ven's injured on the ground because he caught him in the head, Kvaratskhelia. But Richarlison's done what you do as kids, when you're with your best mate and one of you lays down behind somebody. He's seen Mickey Van de Ven laid on the floor. Kvaratskhelia making his way backwards towards him. He's just giving him a shove and he's fallen over Van de Ven.
He is very naughty, isn't he, Richarlison? Paris Saint-Germain 0, Tottenham 2. And Romero scoring in the 48th minute. So Van de Ven in the 39th and Romero in the 48th. Back to the League Cup, Sarah Mulkerrins.
Huddersfield 1, Leicester 1. The goal coming from a penalty awarded after Ruben Rushkin was taken down by Hamza Chowdhury. The initial effort, though, from Dion Charles was saved by Stolarczyk, but the onrushing Dan Vost was there to head it home. It's Huddersfield 1, Leicester 1.
2-0 to Tottenham. Choice of listening tonight. That match is on Sports Extra 3, which is only available on the BBC Sounds app. Birmingham City, Sheffield United, with Birmingham winning 1-0, is on Sports Extra 2. Here is Richarlison, who is then challenged by Kvaratskhelia, and a little shove in the back, and Richarlison goes sprawling down onto his front and wins the free kick. And now Kvaratskhelia, under that scrawny beard of his, I think he's steaming.
He was chasing Richarlison. He was radaring in on him for a long way. I don't think he was even his man to chase back, but I think he wanted a piece of Richarlison there. But once again, he's chased him back, he's brought him down. It's another free kick, which Tottenham are loading the box up.
Yeah, another set piece, which is taken short by Porro to Kudus. Kudus curling it in towards the back post. Danzo with a header! It hits the side netting. The Tottenham fans who were on the other side of the goal from us, many of them thought that it ended up in the back of the net, but it was wide into the outside netting.
They've clearly not worked on any set play defensive structures, PSG. I mean, they're getting exposed every time the ball goes to the far post. This time it's Danzo, just like Romero, completely free, unmarked at the far post.
From Udine, we will go to Huddersfield in a moment, but PSG are attacking. That is dealt with by Van de Ven, who is able to clear it away. So back to Huddersfield, Sarah Mulkerrins.
Huddersfield 1, Leicester 2. Huddersfield asleep in defence. Harry Winks on as a second half substitute, able to steal into the area and get a low shot away, his first touch of the game. Huddersfield 1, Leicester 2.
Thank you, Sarah. So Leicester back in front. Draw's already been made for the second round, and the winners of that, if it is Leicester, they would be away to Sunderland. While we're listening to Sarah, Paul, Richarlison has been yellow carded.
Yeah, it's been Richarlison's been shown the yellow card. It was a challenge from Papsar in the middle of the midfield, originally I think on Vitinha, and it was what Richarlison came back and said to the referee.
Who'd have thought that? 2-0 to Tottenham. PSG in possession on the halfway line. Hakimi forward to Kvaratskhelia, and then a touch from Doué to Hakimi. Hakimi's ball across is cleared away by Romero, up towards Kudus. who then wins a free kick for the challenge from Marquinhos. Back to Bolton, Sheffield Wednesday, Tom Gale.
10-man Bolton 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2. It could be 3. Kabatsky in space, left-hand side of the box, struck it well, but palmed away by debutant Bolton keeper Tyler Miller. We've got just over 25 minutes of normal time remaining. Bolton 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2.
If Sheffield Wednesday win that, Paul, they'll be home to Leeds United.
Two great big clubs, two big Yorkshire derby. And I was just doing Richarlison a disservice, my apologies. I was saying that he was petulant for back-chatting the referee. It wasn't for that petulance, it was for kicking the ball away he got booked.
Again, not absolutely unheard of, as Vitinha is dispossessed. You know, there's a great hunger about Tottenham. And their new coach, Pedro Porro, challenged in the box. I think it was a fair one from Nuno Mendes, even though he went down. Porro is suggesting that that should be looked at as a potential penalty. I'm not so sure, but we'll see. PSG with Barcola. What a run this is from Barcola down the left wing. Two Tottenham defenders come together, and Danso is able to get it away, but PSG now, wounded animal, Doué into the box, and then Richarlison. The vaguest of touches from Doué on Richarlison, and he goes down, wins a free kick to Tottenham. Barcola then says something to the referee, who was right next to him, and Barcola is booked.
What is it you often refer to Richarlison as? The pantomime villain. Well, I think he's playing that role very well tonight, isn't he?
Yes.
Not making a lot of friends from the PSG fans, but he's putting in a shift. And what I'm interested to see tonight as well, we talk about the defensive shape from Tottenham. They're taking pride in defending, something that they've not necessarily always done. They're working back as a team, they're working hard as a team. Players aren't getting caught in front of the ball. When they do lose possession, everybody to a man is working to get back into shape and get back behind the ball and enjoying that defensive structure that they've been given.
Well, 10 minutes into the second half here in northeastern Italy, not too far away from Venice. It's where we'll be going back to tomorrow, won't we? To Marco Polo International Airport. And Paris Saint-Germain 0, Tottenham 2 is the score in the 50th UEFA Super Cup match. It was first played in 1974 as Spence has conceded a free kick against Kvaratskhelia and is not best pleased with that. PSG knocking it about in the central third. The Champions League holders beaten by Chelsea in the FIFA Club World Cup final, now facing the prospect of losing to Tottenham in this match, and then Spence wins a free kick against Kvaratskhelia and a free kick to Tottenham in the last back area. Yes, Ajax were the very first winners, and in the match programme tonight there's a great photograph of the Ajax players celebrating the winning of that first Super Cup, all wearing matching dressing gowns for some reason. Look it up.
They look like the Tottenham team did when they turned up tonight.
Well, I'm wondering if it was exactly Tottenham tonight who turned up in cream suits, but it might well be they're going to have the last laugh. PSG 0, Tottenham 2, and we will have all of the reaction on the Football Daily back for the new season. Oh, careless from Pacho. Tottenham win it back. Sarr, then he was fouled. Yellow card for Pacho, who was careless there, dwelt on the ball. Sarr was all over him. Then Pacho fouled Sarr as he tried to take it on. That's now a yellow card for Willian Pacho.
Really good pressing again from Spurs, but understanding perhaps that he's got teammates around him. He's got Kudus, he's got Richarlison, Pedro Porro was up there. He tucked in. They're not just pressing individually like they did last year. There's a trigger, there's an awareness, there's a positional awareness. Right, there's 3 of us, there's 4 of us. We're going to hunt in packs, we're going to hunt in the right areas, and we're going to win the ball back, and that's exactly what Pap Sarr did then.
And it's another set piece for Thomas Frank's Tottenham, although they might have a good goal from this one.
But there's no intent now to look to play the ball quickly. Everything is structured. Quite often we see teams get free kicks, right, hand on play, move the ball. Every single free kick that Tottenham have had, they're using it as an opportunity to deliver a service into the box.
Porro is lining this up. There's a 3-man wall. This will be best part of, well, certainly between 25 and 30 yards out. Porro staring intently at the ball. Kudus is there, but it is Porro, right-footed over the wall, but wide by probably a yard. And PSG are going to bring on Fabian Ruiz who was rather surprisingly missed out. Took a flick off the wall, actually. Doué was in the wall on its way wide, so it's actually a corner to Tottenham. Fabian Ruiz is going to come on. Next chance PSG get for their first change.
Yeah, he won't make the change now. They defended the corner. Pedro Porro ambles over to this near side. Once again, you look at this penalty box. Every single player in a white shirt is loaded on the far side. Not anyone in the front half of the 18-yard box. Everybody is at the far post. Two on the edge, Bentancur and Kudus.
So the corner is taken by Pedro Porro. Headed away, though, easily and comfortably for Vitinha at the near post.
Of course, they put everybody at the far post, and then, as always, can't miss the first man.
Spence, long one forward from him. Nuno Mendes actually brings it down, controls it, even though Richarlison's not too far away. Now Pacho, Marquinhos. Again, great pressure from Kudus this time. Well, Richarlison and Kudus. You know, we wondered why it was that he went with these two today. I think Kudus would have been in the team, you would have expected that, but Richarlison with Johnson and the recently recovered from injury Solanke on the bench. But I think we are seeing it, aren't we? This is what he's asked them to do.
There's an intelligence. You can see this just hasn't been thrown together. This has been worked on the training ground. This is a team structure, it's a team shape, and each player knows their job. They know when to press, and the most impressive thing is they know when not to press, when to drop off, when they're outnumbered in certain areas, when they do need to retreat to that defensive shape, and when they are actually able to launch a press and win the ball back. They've been very, very effective.
And that is going to be the end of the night for Kavica Kvaratskhelia. So Fabian Ruiz comes on into the midfield for Kvaratskhelia, your favourite.
I think that will lead to PSG resorting to type 1, going back to that more familiar 4-3-3. Doué higher up the field, Ruiz dropping in alongside Vitinha and Zaire Emery.
The 100 on the television again tonight on the BBC. What's the news, Atif Nawaz?
Well, the Welsh Fire are off and running in this season of the 100. They were winless in the men's and women's competition up until tonight. The Welsh Fire seeing off a tight game against the Manchester Originals, winning by 25 runs.
Thank you, Atif. Another long throw for Tottenham. Richarlison, Paul, you were spotting, still plenty to say for himself, even though he's got a yellow card.
He's picked up with Hakimi now Kvaratskhelia got gone.
Comes Danso, long throw into the area, that's only half headed away by Marquinhos, back into the box by Polina, might bounce down for the shot, but the offside, was the offside flag up? No, the referee's given it as a free kick, as Danso was in position to shoot for goal. It was saved by Chevalier, but there was a foul given before that for a
high foot. I think it was Kudus. Yeah, he tried the spectacular. And I think the goalkeeper there would rather the referee had blown up before he had to put his body on the line for that save, because he made a brilliant block at the far post, the goalkeeper, in a place that's not very pleasant for goalkeepers.
No, that's right, but he's okay, and players back underway with Tottenham leading by 2-0 and closing in on becoming the 7th different English club to win this trophy. Tottenham are also thinking about a change. Archie Gray is being prepared to come on for what will be the first Spurs substitution. As play back underway on the far side. Kevin Danso showing a yellow card in the midst of all that.
Over the far side, Danso, whether it is for something he said to the referee or not. He's been shown a yellow card out of our vision over on the far side.
Yeah. So a throw in near the halfway line for Tottenham. Just taken long again by Danso. Headed away, Barcola. And then helped across the pitch by Zaire Emery. And now Hakimi carrying it forward, but that's short, and that's excellent work from Bentancur to slide it out of play. Back to the League Cup and Huddersfield again, Sarah Mulkerrins.
The Terriers are not out of this, John. It is Huddersfield 2, Leicester 2. A stunning solo effort from Cameron Ashia. 2 goals in 2 games for him. All the work down the left-hand side, brought it into the area and curled it past Stolarczyk. He had no chance. It's Huddersfield 2, Leicester 2.
Vitinha plays it into the penalty area, touch from Hakimi, shot from Zaire Emery, comes back to him after being blocked, and the referee then blows the whistle because the offside flag goes up. All harum scarum, but it would have counted for nothing.
Goalmar scramble and a brilliant block by Mickey van der Ven, but it would all led to nothing if the assistant on this near side would have put his flag up in the initial move. the ball came through, and it was Hakimi who just drifted in behind that Tottenham back line. Wonderful block by Mickey van der Ven.
I'm not sure he would have been offside,
It was close, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Put the flag up. I mean, VAR will look at it.
Yeah, anyway, ball didn't end up in the back of the net, so there we are. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Tottenham 2. One of our 6 Premier League commentaries this weekend features Tottenham. You're going to be there, aren't you? Tottenham against Burnley, Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock. So that is one thing that changes this season. You now have a choice of Premier League commentaries on Saturday at 3 o'clock. So Sunderland West Ham is the 5 Live commentary. Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin will be there. Then you will hear Wolves Manchester City. All of the Saturday 5:30 Premier League commentaries will be once again on 5 Live or Sports Extra this season. All the 2 o'clock matches. So Chelsea, Palace, Nottingham Forest, Brentford this weekend, and then Manchester United, Arsenal on 5 Live 4:30 on Sunday. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Tottenham 2. And what a turn of events this. What a year 2025 will have been for Tottenham. Everything that happened at the end of the season. Winning only 38 points and finishing 17th in the Premier League, winning the Europa League, sacking Ange Postecoglou, having won a trophy for the first time for 17 years, and now looking at the possibility of winning 2 cups in 2 competitive matches.
Don't want to tempt fate, but what's that saying about London buses?
Well, quite so. Back to Tom Gale at Bolton.
Equaliser for the 10 men Bolton. Bolton 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Thierry Gale on the penalty spot, back to goal, swiveling shot into the bottom corner. Just over 10 minutes of normal time remaining. Bolton 2, Sheffield Wednesday 2.
As an offside flag, it goes up against Pape Sarr, who had a shot at goal, but it was blocked wide. So still 2-0 Tottenham, and still 1-0 Birmingham Sheffield United. Charlie Slater?
Could have been 2 though. Laird had the ball in the back of the net for Birmingham City, only for the referee to spot some wrestling at the back post. He blew his whistle. We thought, oh, maybe a penalty. Nope, he just wanted them to retake the corner kick, and so Laird's goal scratched off. Still 1-0.
5 Live on the air till 10:30 tonight at 5 Live and BBC London, with the commentary as PSG once again pour forward, trying to do something about this. Barcola square. Zaire Emery just outside the D. Goes square again. Here's Doué. Doué trying to find a position on his left foot. Shoots! Very good save by Vicario. Comes out for the shot that is blocked and then driven in. But the offside flag is up and Barcola is denied by the flag. They will look at it on VAR. One of the Tottenham players, I think, took the ball as he blocked it in a painful position. So he'll be down for a moment or two. But I think it's Danso. Yes, it is Danso who was hit amidships. So they'll look at this VAR, but I have a feeling that was the right decision.
Yeah, it was a really good strike initially and a very, very good save from Vicario, low down to his right-hand side. Got 2 hands, it pushed it out to the PSG player who was stood in an offside position. Just looking at it again now, it's Fabian Ruiz who just come on. Danso blocks the shot, comes out to Barcola. He hammers the ball past and through Vicario's legs. But he was offside, Ruiz, in the build-up. Assistant on the near side had to keep his flag down. VAR will have checked it, ruled it out, and it gives Luis Enrique the chance to shuffle his pack once again.
Yes, which he is doing. So changes number 2 and 3, and Bradley Barcola coming off, and Zaire Emery, and coming on Lee Kang-in, the South Korean forward, and I think that was Ibrahim Mbai who came on, the 17-year-old winger who is number 49, and he's taken up a position on the right-hand side. Mbai, who really only played a bit part in the brilliant season that they had last season, just the 12 appearances, 4 starts, but still in the very early stages of his career. 2-0 Tottenham. PSG attacking with the newly arrived Mbai. Spence trying to reach him. Final touch was off the PSG player. It's a goal kick to Tottenham. Back to Tom Gale again at Bolton.
Sheffield Wednesday back in front, John. Bolton 2, Wednesday 3. Ball over the top. Youngster Reece Johnson, the angle's tight. He nutmegs the goalkeeper. 10-man Bolton 2, Sheffield Wednesday 3. 9 minutes of normal time remaining.
So Sheffield Wednesday back in front again. Goal kick, and we're going to see for Tottenham Dominic Solanke, who has just recovered from an ankle injury. Big season for him coming up. Solanke after, well, Paul Robinson, how would you describe his first season for Tottenham? 16 goals?
I think he came in with huge expectation, didn't he? And I think obviously still carrying the weight of that Harry Kane jersey. I think
record signing.
He's the type of player that Tottenham have craved, and he's the type of player that Tottenham have needed. I think he was injury hampered during the course of the season. If you can keep him fit and you can keep him playing every week, he shows what he gives you. He's a striker I like because he's not afraid to run in behind. He runs the channels as well as working in between the lines of the 18-yard box, and he's proven that he can score the goals if he stays fit and given the service.
Massive insect just flies past us. I'm surprised it can stay in the air that big. Here's Hakimi infield, and then the Mbai with the ball across the box after it was laid into him by Lee. The two substitutes together, Lee and Mbai. Archie Gray still waiting to come on, so Gray and Solanke will come onto the field, and for Solanke, of course, start of a season that ends in the World Cup in the United States. Ball out on the left hand side into the Tottenham box, headed down by Richarlison. Got the feeling that pattern might be set now for the remainder of this game, with Tottenham 2-0 lead against the Champions League holders. Luis Enrique making changes as the ball in from the left-hand side, but too close to Vicario, who's able to gather it into his stomach.
It was a familiar pattern towards the end of the Europa League for Tottenham, wasn't it, when Ange Postecoglou decided to be ever so slightly more pragmatic, to be resilient, stay in games. The game against Eintracht Frankfurt, the game in the final, obviously, against Manchester United, the one away at Bodo Glimt as well, as one that stuck out in memory. It was a really tough, rugged, determined performance. Wasn't pretty, but got the job done.
I bet it sticks in the memory. You on your trip to the Arctic Circle.
Me and ABB.
I was very jealous of that. As Porro slides this away to the halfway line, Nuno Mendes is going to take this on. Still in possession, the Portuguese left back, and then forward from Dembele. Now again, square from him. Here is Lee. Hakimi now, right corner of the Tottenham box as PSG attack. Lee back to the halfway line again. Marquinhos shapes the pass to Hakimi, and then Hakimi slips it between the legs of Spence into the penalty area. Fabian Ruiz, and then Dembele curls a shot wide from 16, 17 yards wide of the right post as he looked at it by a yard or so.
It's a wonderful ball by Hakimi, great run by Ruiz, kept himself onside. Dembele just couldn't hit the target, ball pulled back to him, 12 yards out, harmlessly wide of Vicario's left-hand post.
So here we are then, changes made, the two changes for Tottenham, as we will have a drinks break as well midway through the second half. And Dominic Solanke begins his second season as a Tottenham player. And he replaces Richarlison, and Archie Gray coming on for Palhinha. We'll get a word from Paul Robertson on how you felt Palhinha did tonight after we come back from Charlie Slater at St Andrews.
Where Gustavo Harmer has just scored from a pace inside of the Birmingham City half. Harmer's looked up and hit it over the top of the scrambling Birmingham keeper. It is a wonder goal. We might have seen our best finish of the season, and it's only August. It's Birmingham 1, Sheffield United 1.
Wow. Gone very big there, Charlie.
It's a very, very big goal from a very long way out.
We'll be checking your work later, won't we?
You got me nervous.
Right, Paul, Palhinha, what do you think? On loan from Bayern Munich after his season there?
Yeah, the type of player that Tottenham needed to bring in to enhance the quality that they've got. There's no point in bringing in players to bolster the squad. Actually, you bolster the squad, but you better the 11 that you've got, and you have everyone battling for those jerseys. For me, he's an immediate starter. He improves the quality. You look at the players that they've got in that area. Archie Gray will play a little bit of time in there. Bentancur, perhaps Sarr. Obviously, the problems that they've got with Basuma. For me, you look at Palhinha, the experience that he's got. Archie Gray is going to be a fantastic young talent. To have somebody like Palhinha around, especially if they can sign him on a longer-term deal, I think he's an excellent sign, and I think he's showed what he can give. He dominates in that midfield. He's big. He's imposing. I thought he had a really good 72 minutes.
And Archie Gray, it would appear, is going to play in midfield. I mean, he is very versatile. That's one of his positions, isn't it?
Well, it's his dominant position, if you like. I think last year he was outstanding. He was used as a makeshift centre-half. He was used as a right-back. but has started his Leeds career as a defensive midfielder, where I think because of the injuries and suspensions and the trouble that Tottenham had last year, he's forced to play out of position. But it shows how versatile he is and how intelligent he is at such a young age to be able to do that. But I think we'll see a lot more of him in his natural position as a holding midfielder this season.
So play back underway after the second drinks break, and we can now see a very orangey pink moon that has appeared. It is absolutely massive. Not a full moon, it's probably 3/4, isn't it? What a picturesque sight that is over the roof of the Stadio Friuli. Lee for PSG. That's blocked though by Danso, who is then challenged, wants a free kick, doesn't get it. Throw-in is actually given Tottenham's way, so it is a free kick, a throw-in for Thomas Frank's side. Yes, the commentary tonight coming to you from the Friuli Venezia Giulia region, and Udine itself, which I saw in the match programme tonight, described as a hidden pearl. So we found it. Tottenham.
It took us a while. We had a few flights and a few journeys.
Well, it is hidden. It is hidden. That was the clue. Tottenham on the way to victory, on the way to lifting a new trophy in the 50th playing of this match. Tottenham winning it back with Porro, and then Solanke rolls it forward for Porro, but he's beaten to it by the very sharp Nuno Mendes, and Chevalier, who has made the error for the second goal when Romero's header slipped through his gloves as he dived for it. It's given out, and Fabian Ruiz now, as PSG certainly not giving this up with still 15 minutes to play. We know how capable they are of scoring goals in the twinkling of an eye. Hakimi now just outside the box. Remember that comeback against Manchester City, that amazing night, one of so many amazing nights last season at the Parc des Princes for Paris Saint-Germain, as PSG are getting Gonzalo Ramos ready, another very, very capable goal scorer. Out to the right hand side, and Mbaye just keeps this in, and Mbaye has Hakimi there. Tottenham are penned back in now. Vitinha back to Hakimi. Lee makes the run, instead it goes from Mbaye. Mbaye up against Spence, one way then the other, still has it in possession, the PSG man. Vitinha, the floppy hair, plays it to the left hand side. Fabian Ruiz now out to that left flank where the ball is curled in but blocked away on the edge of the penalty area for Tottenham, back to the halfway line. Still PSG in possession. Vitinha, Tottenham beginning to chase shadows rather. Hakimi all the way across the penalty area with the cross. Doué now, Désiré Doué, who has, since the recent changes were made, Doué's taken up a position on the left-hand side, and he's up against Porro, and he's taking him on now. Porro just gets a foot in there and then goes down rather easily. There wasn't much contact there, but the free kick goes the Tottenham right back's way, or right wing back as he is tonight. And that's it for Doué, Paul. He's the latest player to be substituted with Gonzalo Ramos, and 19 goals for him last season, the Portuguese international coming on.
Yeah, I think he'll play up front alongside Dembele, won't he? They're chasing this game now. Ramos coming on, experienced Portuguese international. Cost 65 million. Not bad to bring off the bench, is it? They've got a good nucleus of a strong match day squad, PSG. Taking the players off that they had, you could argue Kvaratskhelia, probably the most attacking threat, is off the field, but at this stage, as well as chasing and wanting to win this game, he's got to be careful and manage the players' minutes.
Paris Saint-Germain 0, Tottenham 2, 5 Live and BBC London, and you can listen to both stations via the BBC Sounds app on 5 Live. After 5 Live Sport ends tonight, 10:30, Tony Livesey will be on air. I suspect Tony will have something lined up for a very hot August night, as I know it is back home as well as here in Italy. The latest Tottenham change is coming shortly, but throwing to PSG halfway inside their own half. Matthijs Tel, who is now a permanent Tottenham player. That's another one of the signings this summer, after he was on loan from Bayern Munich last season, signed for £30 million. But here is Dembele. Oh, he slips the ball through the legs of Bentancur, a nutmeg, and then the ball to the edge of the area, looking for Gonzalo Ramos. That was anticipated by the Tottenham captain, Christian Romero, and cleared away. Lee pacey pass from right to left to Vitinha. Now to the left-hand side, where Dembele will try and work some magic. In fact, back to Vitinha. Archie Gray trying to close him down. Vitinha crosses all the way across the penalty area. Dembele now on the right-hand side. His shot is blocked away by Spence, kept in play actually by Hakimi, and Baye's moved across to the left-hand side after the latest changes. Hakimi's ball into the box, that's cleared away by Van de Ven, out of play for a throw-in to PSG. Just over 10 minutes to go, and the latest Tottenham change, I think as much as anything, these changes just breaking things up and interrupting PSG's momentum, and also at this stage of the season, getting players onto the field. It is still a pre-season match, even though it is this showpiece occasion. So Kudus coming off, Kell coming on, and it's back to Bolton and Tom Gale.
10-man Bolton equalised for the third time. Bolton 3, Sheffield Wednesday 3. It's the substitute Cozier Dubry, right-hand side, edge of the box, left foot, beats Piers Charles. Looks like we're going to penalties here, John. Bolton 3, Sheffield Wednesday 3 in the 90th minute.
So 3-3 there, still Barnsley 2, Fleetwood 2, so it's 2-2 in that match now, and they are deep into added time in that 7:45 kickoff. Cheltenham have won, Cheltenham are through to the second round. They've knocked out League One Exeter City by 2-0. Still Huddersfield 2, Leicester 2, as we heard from Sarah, and that is almost done as well, deep in added time. And then still Birmingham 1, Sheffield United 1 in the 8 o'clock kickoff. In fact, the final whistle has gone in Huddersfield, Sarah.
Ended 2-2, John, a cracking second half. A swerving effort from Hamza Chowdhury put the Foxes ahead. Dan Voss then levelled it, tidying up after a saved Dion Charles penalty. Harry Winks then, he nudged Leicester ahead again before 18-year-old Cameron Ashug curled in a fine equaliser for Huddersfield. So it's off to penalties we go, 2-2 after normal time.
Yep, a glut of League Cup penalties coming, so we'll keep you posted on all of that over the course of the next 20 minutes or so. Here is Dembele for PSG in the box, back to the edge of the area. Lee was almost landed on by Danso, and that's a free kick, probably a foot outside the box. Still Paul Robinson, even though Tottenham have a 2-0 lead, PSG get a goal.
They've taken over at the moment recently, possession-wise, as we've been dancing around the ground listening to the results. It really has been defence against attack, a case of Tottenham trying to get a block in, trying to make a challenge, trying to clear the lines. Danso very clumsily there, clattering in to Lee on the edge of the box, and it's one of those level with a 6-yard vertical line, a yard outside the box, some would say maybe too close. Very difficult one for a goalkeeper, because you have a wall of 6 or 7 of your own players. Very, very difficult to get any kind of eye line on this.
Well, Lee Kang-in looks likely to take it, but Hakimi is there as well, so Tottenham have lined up a 5-man wall with also the old draft excluder behind it. It is Lee, left-footed into the wall, shouts for handball, and the referee says no. I think it hit the player in the face, which is why the referee's blown his whistle, and we will have a stoppage here, because Pedro Porro is lying on his back, and I think you could clearly hear the ball slapping into his face, into the right side of his face. So he's been poleaxed. He actually had his hands behind his back.
I would say brave as a lion, but I don't think he saw it coming. Well, it's a great piece of defensive work, putting his body on the line, but if he could have got out of the way, I think he would have done.
We've got 2 televisions in our commentary position here, and you could see him grit his teeth. You saw a flash of Pedro Porro's teeth as it slapped him in the face. So we will have a stoppage here while he is looked at and probably given a rub down with a sponge. He is back on his feet. So Tom Gale, penalties for you as well.
That's correct, John. Full time, Bolton 3, Sheffield Wednesday 3. The 10-man hosts equalising 3 times, the last one coming in the 91st minute, and Mario Cozier Dubry with his first goal for the club. Spot kicks to decide who plays Leeds United in the second round.
And Barnsley Fleetwood has gone to penalties as well after a 2-2 draw. So details on all of that coming shortly. PSG 0, Tottenham 2, as Our little television screen here is focused in on Gennaro Gattuso, the Italy manager, who's in the crowd, as PSG come forward again. The ball worked across, rattling around in the 6-yard box, and that is very gratefully for Tottenham, cleared away by Bentancur.
They're hanging on, aren't they? They're getting deeper and deeper. Tottenham, PSG keep knocking at the door. That ball right across the 6-yard line.
Yeah, even a rusty Paris Saint-Germain, with the changes that Luis Enrique has made, they're still dangerous.
Oh, they've got the quality, haven't they? You don't lose quality in 3 weeks. You may lose a little bit of match sharpness, but these players have had a long, hard season, winning what they've won. 3 weeks off, yes. Will it tell it a toll? Possibly. The quality and desire to win is still there.
Fabian Ruiz on the left-hand side crosses, but that's blocked behind, with Danso coming across. And off his body and behind for a corner to Paris Saint-Germain. Yes, 65 matches they played in all competitions. Scored 168 goals across all of the various contests that they were involved in. And I can tell you clearly, the target for them now is to win the Champions League again, 2 years in a row, defended. Here is the corner. But with this scoreline, they're not going to win the UEFA Super Cup for the first time. Instead, that is going to be Tottenham, who will join the list of Liverpool, Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, Manchester United, Chelsea and Manchester City. The English clubs who have all won it before. Here is Dembele on the right-hand side. Dembele with a cross, that's headed away by Romero. Comes out, Vitinha does well to work it to Lee, who scores! That's an excellent finish from Lee, and Paris Saint-Germain have a goal, and it's 2-1 now with 5 minutes still to play, plus added time.
He's absolutely hammered that into Vicario's bottom left-hand corner, Lee. Tottenham are that deep, they get a decent clearance on the ball out of their 18-yard box, but it falls to Lee, 20 yards out from goal. He gets it out of his feet, hits it with his left foot, an unstoppable strike from Vicario. Vicario probably slightly unsighted at the box full of bodies in front of him. It's a good header away initially from Romero. Lee's given time and space on the edge of the box. 20 yards out, hits it with his left foot. Really clean, crisp strike. PSG are not out of this.
No, this is a test now for Thomas Frank's Tottenham. Bergvall immediately has been called for by the Tottenham head coach. And we're going to see another Tottenham change, another of the teenagers coming on. Thomas Frank, it's action stations down there now. It's action stations and backs to the wall. 2-1 to Tottenham after Van der Ven and Romero, the central defenders, two of the central defenders scored either side of half-time. But that goal from substitute Lee Kang-in means that Paris Saint-Germain are still thinking they might be able to turn this around. Danso though, long throw for Tottenham, into the box, that's headed away by Gonzalo Ramos, bounces down for Pedro Porro, he shoots, it's deflected across the box, but the referee spotted an infringement on the edge of the area. Free kick PSG, and the PSG ultras now making a lot of noise inside the Stadio Friuli. Back to St Andrews though, Charlie Slater.
Where Birmingham City are back in front, it had to be Jay Stansfield off the bench, beautiful play, edge of the area, little Cruyff turn, drives it via a deflection past the goalkeeper. 87 on the clock, Birmingham 2, Sheffield United 1.
Here in Italy, also 87 minutes. We are in the 87th minute. Bergvall still not coming onto the field yet. Play continues. It's in the balance now this. 2-1 Tottenham lead. Europa League winners. Closing in, but the clock ticking very slowly for Tottenham and their supporters. 21,025 is given as the official attendance. PSG with Nuno Mendes. That noise you can hear, that is coming out of the Tottenham end. They're brilliant supporters. Flares have been lit. There'll be another big UEFA fine coming their way for that, but I think the Qatari owners will probably deal with that. Smoke coming out from the red flares, drum being banged, PSG in possession, and the moon gets ever higher there. It's quite a spooky sight, isn't it? The moonlight, Italy. Venice not far away. Dembele, now to the right to Hakimi, then back towards Marquinhos across to Fabian Ruiz picks out Hakimi again, Hakimi's cross, that's headed away by Bentancur, got underneath it and just sort of headed it away to the halfway line. Thomas Frank, a concerned Thomas Frank steps forward, Paul.
Listen, you can all visualise this as you're listening to us. Tottenham camped on the edge of the box, 10 white shirts and the goalkeeper all trying to defend a back line of 6. PSG just constantly wave after wave of attack. They've just got themselves another corner down here on this near right-hand touchline as we touch 88 minutes.
Dembele wins this one, just flicked it off the Tottenham defender and behind. How many times last season did we watch PSG and this sort of pressure, eventually the goal comes. Dembele all the way across, it's bounced out to Nuno Mendes, controls and shoots, it's deflected up and over the top of the crossbar and behind. I think it might have been Solanke who was the man who made contact with that. They're ready to take a quick corner. Tottenham had to organise themselves there, but the referee says hang on, because Romero is down inside the box. The Tottenham captain, cannily probably, knowing that PSG were looking to take a quick one, just attracted the referee's attention. He paused things and then he's back on his feet. Dembele with a corner for PSG. A whole group of players go for it at the near post. Tottenham are able to head it away. Tottenham leading by 2-1. 5 Live and BBC London. Also on the BBC Sounds app. Now, ball down the left-hand side and Bai is challenged and the ball runs behind. He fell into the penalty area. Danso with the challenge, but the ball ran away and referee Pinheiro immediately pointed towards the 6-yard box and has booked Mbai for simulation.
No doubt in the referee's mind. That goes past Danso. There was Danso put his hand on him and he flung his legs up in the air and theatrically dived. There's no real call for a penalty. PSG players immediately surrounded the referee. No call for a penalty there.
So back to the Bolton penalty shootout. Tom Gale.
Where Liam Palmer, the long-term servant at Sheffield Wednesday, has just booked their place in the second round. 3-3 in full time and Wednesday win it 4-2 on penalties. Bolton missing 2 of their spot kicks, and it's Liam Palmer, Academy 1 club man, who sends Sheffield Wednesday through to the second round.
And the penalty shootout that's going on at Huddersfield against Leicester, that is 2-2 after 3 penalties each. It's a suggestion that might have been Dembele rather than Mbai who was booked. Yeah, Dembele it is. I can see on the screen down in front of us on the official sort of UEFA statistics page. So Dembele, that's yet another player who's booked for saying something.
Yeah, the referee's had his hands full.
6 minutes have been added and Bergvall has been replaced. Bergvall has come on for Sarr into the midfield.
I think that's just a case of ball retention for Thomas Frank. I think he's looking to just try and assure somebody who can get on the pitch, get on the ball, break up possession, keep hold of the ball, keep possession for short periods and put the ball into areas of the pitch that give Tottenham a chance to advance higher up than the field than they are at the moment.
Yeah. Bergvall as well. Remember, he wasn't able to play, was he, or take part in the Europa League final at the end of last season because of the injury that he had. Palhinha, who's been substituted off some time ago, is virtually standing on the side of the pitch. So penalty shootouts going on in the League Cup. We'll have more on that in a moment or so. But PSG in added time, so 6 minutes of added time being played. PSG, despite the fact they've not played at all pre-season, despite the fact fitness you would think would be an issue, Luis Enrique has made his changes and he's virtually on the pitch as well in his beige trousers and his trainers and his black t-shirt. Luis Enrique trying to urge his team on to find an equaliser, to come from 2-0 down against Tottenham and take this to a penalty shootout. I would never underestimate this PSG team of Luis Enrique's. Still, we have got 4 minutes of added time to play. Now it's out to the left-hand side, back centrally to Nuno Mendes, then out there to Lee, who looks to cross it. Back it comes centrally for PSG. Marquinhos going to go to Huddersfield. Next time we get a stoppage in play, but PSG threatening a second goal, an equaliser. Hakimi just outside the area. Tottenham have cleared it away. So back to Sarah Mulkerrins at Huddersfield.
And Huddersfield, John, have made it through to the second round of the League Cup. They have won the penalty shootout 3-2 after Casey McAteer's effort was saved. He was trying to keep them in that shootout. That team effort saved Huddersfield through after it ended 2-2 after normal time.
And they'll be going to Sunderland. PSG continue to attack here. The score, PSG 1, Tottenham 2 in the Super Cup. Still Tottenham are able to hold out, headed away. Lee gets it back, the scorer of the PSG goal, swings the ball right across to the left-hand side. That is chested down and now worked across from left to right, played to Marquinhos. Marquinhos 25 yards out, square to Hakimi. Hakimi stabs it forward, Dembele whips it right across and it's headed down and in. Gonzalo Ramos, and PSG never count them out. They've come from 2-0 down to make it 2-2, and Tottenham could not resist them. 2-2, and it looks like this Super Cup is headed to penalties.
Oh, it's heartbreak for Tottenham in the 94th minute. The quality of PSG has finally found a way through that Tottenham resilience. It's a wonderful ball and it's a fast whipped cross across the edge of the 6-yard box. All Ramos has to do is put his head on it and divert it into the bottom corner. It's good, quick interchange again by PSG. They will look at it for offside from Dembele. Doesn't look to me like he's offside. Hakimi slips the pass down the side to Dembele. Half a look up into the box. Whipped with pace and power across the 6-yard box. Ramos throws himself at it and diverts it into the bottom left-hand corner. And heartbreak for Tottenham so late in the game.
That is Paris Saint-Germain all over. Dembele, I mean, the cross had whip on it, pace on it, and big Gonzalo Ramos in the middle just had to put his head on it, and he did, and it was past Vicario, and 2-2 it is.
What a game we've had. I mean, Tottenham fans and Tottenham never do things easy. They must have had the hearts in their mouths this whole second half, but PSG have slowly improved as this game's gone on. They've got better and better. The deeper Tottenham went, the better PSG became.
Well, listen, any Tottenham fans who thought this was over, you know, they mustn't have watched PSG last season. In the 85th minute here in Udine, Tottenham were winning 2-0. Now it's 2-2, and still we play 5th minute of added time, so just a minute or so to go, and then it'll be a penalty shootout to decide the winners of the 2025 Super Cup. Fabian Ruiz, though, they're still thinking about winning this, and who would bet against them? Fabian Ruiz again, forward of the centre circle, sweetly hits a pass to Lee. Tottenham backpedaling again, forward now to Hakimi on the right, his cross blocked by the outstretched high left leg of Spence for a throw down the right.
Danzo, Romero and Van de Ven look absolutely shattered. They're clinging on now, the three Tottenham centre-halves.
30 seconds to go. Still, PSG have got Tottenham absolutely penned in their defensive half. Paris Saint-Germain fans are jubilant. Dembele lifts it in, beautiful ball. Gonzalo Ramos always almost onto that, but Danzo did enough.
Brilliant.
Just got something on it.
Absolutely brilliant piece of defending by Danzo. It's a wonderful ball, and it looks for all the world that Ramos, all he's going to do is put the ball into the net again. Danzo manages to get himself back goal side in front of Ramos. He makes an absolutely outstanding interception, times the challenge to perfection. If he doesn't, that's a penalty.
Barnsley-Fleetwood penalty shootout continues, and Birmingham City have beaten Sheffield United by 2-1, so Birmingham City are through. So we will have a stoppage here because Romero again ended up on the ground, and I think has got cramp.
Yeah, he's really struggling.
Yeah,
he's got cramp in both legs. He's walking with two stiff legs. He's out the game. He's stood in the middle of the pitch just walking around in circles.
He is, and still we play, but I think that is the final whistle, even though Vitinha shoots for goal. There we are, 2-2, it's finished. What a comeback by Paris Saint-Germain, but should we be surprised by that?
No, they're excellent, aren't they? And listen, they've not been their usual self tonight. At times clunky, at times clumsy in possession. Tottenham have been the better team, but you never rule out a team of PSG's quality. You look at what they did in the Champions League last year. They went into the Club World Cup as favourites. They've got so many players on the pitch, on the bench, that can hurt you, and they managed to find a way and got themselves back. Once they got that back to 2-1, it was always going to be a nervy time for Tottenham, and you could see them retreat, sat deep, and PSG just kept going and going and going, and they eventually got that second goal.
I can tell you Barnsley are through. They've won the penalty shootout 5-4 after the 2-2 draw with Fleetwood. And yes, so Barnsley through on penalties, Sheffield Wednesday through on penalties to play Leeds United, Cheltenham through, Huddersfield Town through on penalties, and Birmingham City as well. And we will have a penalty shootout very shortly here in Italy to decide the outcome of the Super Cup, which has been super entertaining. 2-0 Tottenham led through Van de Ven and Romero. 2-0 up in the 85th minute, but PSG staged yet another one of their comebacks. Lee Kang in and Gonzalo Ramos, two of the substitutes, scoring, and the second goal in the 4th minute of added time. So Paris Saint-Germain 2, Tottenham 2, and that means it will be a penalty shootout.
Right, well, we'll keep you two in the conversation and we'll bring Aaron Lennon in a second as we wait for the penalty shootout. Lots of penalty shootouts gone, as John was just saying. The games that didn't go to penalties in the League Cup tonight: Cheltenham 2, Exeter 0. And let's get the full-time details from St Andrews. Charlie Slater.
Where it finished, Birmingham City 2, Sheffield United 1. The Blues deservedly through. In front through Kyogo inside 5 minutes. The Blades offered little until Harmer's magical equaliser from the halfway line. But that was their only effort on target all night. Birmingham have their own man capable of magic. His name is Jay Stansfield, who with twinkle toes and a double deflection scored the winner 3 minutes from time. Birmingham will host Port Vale in the second round. They've beaten Sheffield United by 2-1.
Aaron, when PSG scored that first goal, there just did feel a sense of inevitability that they were going to find a way to get the second.
Yeah, we were saying it here in studio that it was coming. It looked so dangerous. They started to dominate position. I thought they were so much better when Fabian Ruiz came into the middle of the park and put their three midfielders back inside there. And like I said, Spurs dropped a little bit too early. Like I said, it was already a little bit deep, but they just literally was trying to hold on. And then, like I said, PSG quality still started to show. It was a rusty performance from PSG, as we said all along. They've been back a week, and it really did show today. But they have them quality players, and I do feel that the changes made a big difference to this game.
John, you said it after 84 minutes when it was still 2-0. Don't write Paris Saint-Germain off.
Well, that's off the back of seeing them time and time again last season, and some of the things that they did. It's not a coincidence.
The way they scored the equaliser as well, Paul. I mean, that was... I feel like I've seen that goal before from PSG, if that makes sense.
It was a well-worked goal, wasn't it? But as soon as the ball came out to Lee on the edge of the box, I mean, he only had one thing on his mind. 20 yards from goal, he fired it through the crowd, arrow-like, into the bottom left-hand corner of Vicario's goal. And from that moment on, the momentum that they had, momentum turned into belief very quickly.
I think the penalties are going to be at the Tottenham end. I think when the coin toss was made, I think referee Pinero, it is. It's going to be at the Tottenham end, so that's why there was a big cheer from the Tottenham fans.
Whatever happens in this penalty shootout, Aaron, and obviously we'll be able to get into more detail off the back of it, Spurs are going to take so much from this tonight.
Yeah, 100%. I still think it's been a good performance from Spurs. I think they've been the better side. We've shown that Thomas Frank is going to have a real identity of this team. They look so much more organised. Obviously, set pieces are going to be a massive part with the long throws. And I said there's some really positives to take from this game. And like I said, this penalties is, who knows, this still could go Spurs' way. So, like I said, but a really good night for Spurs either way.
All right, well, Vicario back home. Chevalier, after making a mess of one of the Tottenham goals, chance to be a hero on his PSG debut. Here we go,
Steve,
John.
What would you do for Donnarumma right now?
I'm saving that conversation for about 10:15, Paul.
Now, Paul Robinson, you spotted that both Vicario and Chevalier were immediately down in the dugouts with their people.
Yeah, interesting. As soon as the final whistle went, both goalkeepers disappeared into the relevant dugout, sat with their goalkeeper coach. Vicario had his iPad as well. I think they've got a list of the penalty takers. I mean, it's now more a game of cat and mouse than ever, because everybody knows the research that goalkeepers do. You have to find the penalty taker's safety penalty, their favourite penalty under pressure. The thing is, the person walking up to take the penalty knows that you know that, so it's now more of a mind game than it's ever been.
Right, after an entertaining match that has finished Paris Saint-Germain 2, Tottenham 2, PSG coming from 2-0 down, 2 late goals. We now have a penalty shootout to decide the 2025 UEFA Super Cup. Tottenham will take the first penalty. Substitute Dominic Solanke, just back from injury. Very short run up, right-footed, excellent penalty, high above Chevalier's dive to his left, and Tottenham 1-0 up in the shootout.
Really good, confident start from Dominic Solanke. Had no other idea of what he was going to do, no messing about. Short run up, head down, strikes through the ball, up high into the top corner, out the goalkeeper's reach. Good start for Tottenham.
In fact, you don't see many run-ups for penalties as short as that these days.
No, he knew exactly what he was doing, rehearsed. Very good penalty. 5
Live, BBC London, live here in Italy, watching now PSG's first penalty, and it's little Vitinha, their excellent Portuguese midfielder. A very direct run-up from him, but he walks back all the way into the D and now steps forward. It's that creeping style. Creep, 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 and then right-footed, hits it wide! Well, PSG missed their first penalty, even though Vicario went the wrong way, and memories there of the Parc des Princes when Vitinha missed his penalty against Arsenal.
Just don't get it. I don't get the run-up. I don't get the taking of the kick in that way. He walks all the way back into the edge of the D. He gives himself a long run-up, but it's not a run-up. It's a walk looking at the goalkeeper. And when he gets 2 yards from the ball, he decides to then go into strike. I mean, these players, they can strike balls. They've got great quality. There's no need to try and do anything silly with the run-up. I mean, that just looked comical from the start of his run-up.
Yeah. Well, we had a penalty shootout on Sunday when half of the penalties were not scored. Tottenham winning 1-0. Bentancur to take the next one for Tottenham. Paces out his run. Here he comes. Little steps from him, but then drives it in. Excellent penalty. Chevalier went to his right, but it was just struck too well by Bentancur. Couldn't stop it.
John, you're right. It's a great penalty. I mean, if a penalty is struck right and well from that type of distance, it's going to be very difficult for a goalkeeper to save. Chevalier went the right way, he went full length. Bentancur inside of his right foot, drifting away from the goalkeeper, hit in between the post and the side netting. You're going to score, which is exactly what he did.
So that means it's 2-0 to Tottenham, and this now is PSG's second penalty, and it's Gonzalo Ramos, the substitute, who just a few minutes ago scored the goal, the little header that made it 2-2 and forced the penalty shootout. So Gonzalo Ramos, his future not absolutely certain, not a regular starter, and up he comes now, blasts it down the middle, hit with power. Vicario went to his right, and again there was no stopping that, and Gonzalo Ramos has given a little bit back to the Tottenham fans behind the goal there. 2-1 it is now.
Really, really good penalty. Knew exactly what he was doing from the minute he walked up, put the ball down, stepped back to his mark, like a rugby union kicker. High, straight, powerful, straight down the middle of the goal. Absolutely no doubt in that penalty from Ramos.
Mickey van der Ven is the next penalty taker, the man who opened the scoring in this Super Cup match. Left-footed penalty then from him, the other end from where he opened the scoring. So left-footed, it's saved by Chevalier, diving down to his left, and it's kept out, and Tottenham have missed for the first time in the shootout, and it's 2-1 with PSG to take their third penalty next.
He reads it well, Chevalier. Guesses early, dives to the left-hand side. It's a comfortable save for a goalkeeper. It's too close to him. You're going to strike a penalty like that and telegraph where you're going. Got to find the corner. Too close to the goalkeeper, but a good save.
Dembele next. Champions League player of the season last season. PSG's top scorer with his 35 goals. Absolutely scintillating at times. A long run up, he's standing just in the D. Right-footed, steps out to his left and scores. Hits it low. Vicario goes to his right, the ball goes the other way, and that levels it up. PSG levelling it up again, just like they did in the match. 2-2.
And you can feel the tension inside the stadium. Been there, done it. You can practice penalties all you like. You can practice penalties daily for months, weeks on end, but you cannot recreate the pressure that an arena and an environment like this brings. You can practice the striking, you can practice the way you're going to take it, the run-up, the walk to the penalty spot. One thing you cannot recreate, the pressure of the stadium and the expectation.
Matthijs Tel, who I'm not sure how often he touched the ball when he was on the field, Paul. If he did, well, it was only a couple of times. So now a Tottenham player on a permanent basis. Big pressure penalty this. It's 2-2 in the shootout. Out he goes, stepping to his left. Right foot, little delay. Oh, and he's hit it wide. He's hit it wide. Wide of the left post. Hands on head. It remains 2-2, and PSG with their next penalty can move ahead.
Well, he's moved more in his run-up taking that penalty than he has since he come on the pitch. He moved to his left, moved really wide. He ran in, then he stopped, then he stuttered, and he ended up taking the penalty off a one-step run-up, off a 12-yard run. Don't like it.
So, with a chance now for PSG to move ahead for the first time on the night in the penalty shootout with the 4th of their 5, and it is Lee Kang-in who started the comeback with that brilliantly struck goal from the edge of the penalty area that made it 2-1. So Lee, it's a left-footed penalty, blue socks pulled high up over his knees from just inside the box. On his left foot, Lee scores with a very good penalty. Vicario going the wrong way to his left, and that means PSG are 3-2 up in the shootout now.
Really good penalty, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. Confidently struck this time, unlike his goal. This was the instep, side-footed to the goalkeeper's right. Goalkeeper went left.
So that piles the pressure on. Pedro Porro misses this next one. PSG have won it.
Got to score, Pedro Porro.
Sudden death now, even though this is Tottenham's 5th penalty. So Tottenham have missed their last 2 now. Van de Ven saved, Tell missed. Porro has to score, otherwise it's another trophy for Paris Saint-Germain. So a direct run-up, maybe 4 yards. Pedro Porro against Lucas Chevalier. Out to his left, right-footed, scores high into the top corner. Well taken. Top right corner as he looked at it, with Chevalier going down to his right. That makes it 3-3. However, PSG, if they score their next one, it's theirs.
Could have told the goalkeeper where he was going with that one and he still wouldn't have saved it. Wonderful penalty from Pedro Porro. High up and away to the goalkeeper's left, right into the top corner. Will it be enough to keep Tottenham in this shootout though?
So who is it who's been given the responsibility? Is it Nuno Mendes? Who's just placing it down. I think it is Nuno Mendes, isn't it? The left back, the Portuguese left back. So Nuno Mendes has a chance to win yet another trophy for Paris Saint-Germain and break Tottenham hearts. Left-footed, high above Vicario, and Paris Saint-Germain complete their comeback. They win the Super Cup. You cannot count Luis Enrique's team out. 2-0 down in the 85th minute, and yet it is PSG who are celebrating the winning of yet another trophy. Denied by Chelsea in America at the FIFA Club World Cup just 31 days ago, but the team that won the French domestic double made it a treble with the Champions League. Now they've added the UEFA Super Cup, and for the first time they've won that trophy here tonight. They celebrate initially in front of the Tottenham fans, but now are heading right down the other end of the stadium to enjoy yet another great moment of celebration with their supporters who've come all the way here from Paris. And for Tottenham and for Thomas Frank, so close to a trophy in his first competitive match, but not the only team to have been done by PSG in 2025.
Devastation for Tottenham, absolute devastation and shock all round us. For those in white shirts up in the stand away to our left, quickly making their way to the exits. 5 minutes away from winning the second trophy in 17 years. It was such a good performance. They did everything right, Tottenham, but they conceded that goal to bring it back to 2-1, and then they crumbled. You could just feel the pressure mounting on Tottenham. PSG got themselves back into it, and the penalty shootout, when you get that stage, it's a lottery, and it's a very, very pressured scenario for these Tottenham players. PSG handled it better than Tottenham did. The Tottenham players in front of us on the pitch, strewn head in hands, arms round each other, pure sight of devastation. So close to a major trophy once again. So much disappointment. You can see the side of the stadium to our left, half empty, half the supporters staying in to applaud the players that are on the pitch. In shock, most of them. I'm not so sure that they can quite understand what's just happened. Devastated, disappointment.
Well, they did so much right tonight, but in the end it's the Champions League holders who've won the Super Cup 7 times in a row. That's been the case, that the Champions League holders have won it, and the celebrations begin at the other end. The PSG support players running and jumping towards the end where all of their ultras are. So that is it. Paris Saint-Germain and Tottenham 2-2 after the 90 minutes and added time. PSG coming from 2-0 down with the 2 late goals and winning the penalty shootout 4-3. PSG, another trophy in the bag.
Right, we'll be with you from Udine all the way through until 10:30 when Tony Livesey takes over on 5 Live. Between now and then, we'll be reacting to what we've just seen in the Super Cup final. We'll speak to Matt Spiro, French football expert, shortly. Obviously, we'll bring you the trophy lift as well. I feel like I've been transported back to Munich with the shots of a trophy being emblazoned with the name of Paris Saint-Germain, with Luis Enrique jumping up and down. I suspect John Murray might keep his top on this time.
Yes, I think so. You know, this is the cream on top, isn't it, this trophy? I mean, it does have prestige. You can only win it if you've won the Champions League or the Europa League. So it is the classic showpiece situation. But, you know, the Champions League was the one they absolutely wanted. That was the night for tops off for Luis Enrique, not tonight.
Aaron Lennon, we will talk about Tottenham and how much they did right tonight. But before we do that, because Paris Saint-Germain have won it, I mean, we could talk about discipline or pressing or set pieces, but there is no attribute in football like never knowing when you're beaten, and PSG just never know when they're beaten.
Yeah, they never know. Like you said, it's the quality that this team has. They've shown it all last season and again here. Like I said, they've only been back a week and they was really rusty today, but you could start to see they was creeping into the game. They started dominating possession, and once they got that first goal, like I said, we sat here and called it. We was like, oh, this is tough now for Tottenham to dig in, because PSG then stepped up another gear, and like you said, they showed their moments of class, bits of quality. Dembele puts a lovely ball in. It's a great goal, and I was even worried for Spurs to lose it in the added time then, because they were so much on top. But yeah, it's a disappointing end for Spurs, because like you said, there was lots of positives, but PSG are that team. They're a fantastic outfit. They never know when they're beaten. Massive credit to the players and to the manager.
We spoke, Paul Robinson, so much before the game about Paris Saint-Germain and about it effectively being a first game of their pre-season because of the Club World Cup. But even with, you know, tiredness, even with lack of sharpness, they've just got people. They've got so many players who are so technically good, and we wouldn't have spent any time before the game talking about someone like Lee Kang-in, but it was that brilliant strike that turned the tide.
Yeah, and they've got players who know how to get over the line and know how to win trophies. I think this will be damaging for Tottenham, I really do. Because the situation they were in, 2-0 up with 5 minutes to go, seeing the players on the pitch now, they're all stood individually. There's little groups, little huddles. Pap Sarr's in front of me down here, crouched over on his haunches. Richarlison stood on his own on the edge of the box. Vicario still hasn't moved from the edge of the 18-yard box. They're absolutely devastated. They were so close. This could have been so big for Tottenham. You know, they got the trophy that they've so longingly waited for at the end of last season, and this could have been a real step forward for Tottenham. But instead, it's a real blow. Listen, when you analyse it and you take the pieces out of it, we'll say, do you know what? It was a decent performance. It was a good performance by Tottenham. There's a lot of positives they can take out of it. But actually, they've given away a 2-goal lead and ended up losing the game within the last 5 minutes. I think this will hurt, and I just hope there's no lasting damage going into the season from it.
No, I fully agree, Robbo. These hurt, and you can see the players there. They're really hurting here, because you know games which you should win, and this is one of them. Like you said, there was 5 minutes to go to see a game out, even when it goes to 2-1. You've got to know how to see a game out. You have to see these games out, and Tottenham didn't handle that well enough. But looking at the disappointment on some of these players, to pick yourself up in 3 days' time when the Premier League starts, it's quite worrying looking at the players now. And Thomas Frank's biggest job now is to pick these players up quickly and get over it, because there was a lot of positives tonight.
Really is, Steve, a scene of genuine disappointment and disbelief among the Tottenham players. I mean, Bentancur's walking over now to pick up Richarlison, who's been with his shirt off on his haunches, on his own at the edge of the box. Vicario, hands on hips on the far side, still hasn't moved. Just pure shock, disbelief and disappointment. This is hitting them hard at the moment.
Yeah, it's really interesting just watching what we can see on the TV pictures back here. The emotions that you're talking about, they look like a team who've just lost a Champions League final or an FA Cup final as opposed to a Super Cup final, Paul.
Shows what it means to them. Yeah. Shows what it would mean to Tottenham. You know, it was a huge step last year, lifting that Europa League trophy. It was massive. We all know about the fun that's poked at Tottenham, the 17 years, you know, the kudos and the bragging rights that trophy brings to these sets of supporters who have suffered for a long, long time. This tonight would have just been Listen, they could have gone to every Premier League ground next year and sung Champions of Europe. Whether it was or not, you could argue, but that's the type of thing, and that's what it meant to these sets of supporters. And you can see that it meant that to the players as well. You can obviously see the way that they've built towards this game, what Thomas Frank's done to them. They're absolutely devastated down on the pitch in front of me.
Oh, I think it's so interesting what you guys were saying about the danger of lasting damage. Because that, to be honest, Aaron, that wouldn't have occurred to me. I'm not devaluing the Super Cup, but it isn't an FA Cup final or a Champions League final.
Yeah.
So if there is a real danger of that, does that mean that it's going to be very difficult for them to do what I maybe slightly naively would think they could do, which is in a day's time or 2 days' time, sit back and think, well, against probably the best team in the world, for 85 minutes, we were beating them 2-0.
Yeah, no, but I just think you play in certain games, and this was definitely one of them. They knew PSG were miles off it. PSG have been back for a week, and I know it is the best team in the world.
Yeah.
But this is not PSG who've been flying all season. This is PSG who've just come off the holidays. And this was, when you have these opportunities, they don't come around again. You don't get these opportunities, and I think this is why these games hurt so much, when you know you have basically half your hand on the trophy, and you should be able to see these games out. And you get these games now in the Premier League where you're 2-0 up and a team scores in the 86th minute, and you start to think of these moments again. So these things last. They do stick. Yeah. They do stick. And like you said, they need to get over this quickly. But Thomas Frank has got a job now in picking these players up.
I think it's fascinating, Paul, because I had written down sort of 4 or 5 things that I thought Tottenham did well, and was fully prepared to be like, oh, they can take this forward and that forward. Does it just not matter now that they were really good from set pieces and they looked really disciplined and that their pressing was really good? Does that kind of go out the window?
Yeah, when you unpack this in the next 24, 48 hours, and that's the job of the manager and the coaching staff. He's got to get back to the Tottenham Hotspur training ground, show them the video and show them everything that they did well, and put the belief back into these players, because at the moment they could crawl under a snake's belly with a top hat on. He needs to pick these players up. He needs to get them back to what they did for 75, 80 minutes in this game, because they did play well. Listen, there's a lot of subplots around this game. PSG only been here for a week, only training for a week, their only game in pre-season, then been miles off it. But that adds to Tottenham's frustration, because they knew, and they know what a chance that was. They knew what a chance that they had. They had the best team in Europe 5 minutes away from taking the next trophy off them, and it's very, very disappointing for them.
I'd love to see the statistic again about the number of teams who miss first in a penalty shootout and come back to win. I won't lie, John, when Vitinha sort of approached his penalty like he was stalking a wild animal, I thought this was all going Tottenham's way.
Yeah, but as I say, that happens. That's how he takes his penalties, and Raya saved his penalty, didn't he, at the Parc des Princes, when he did exactly the same thing. But remember how they won the penalty shootout to knock out Liverpool in the round of 16, wasn't it, at Anfield? So it is remarkable how often that is the case, that the team that misses first actually goes on to win the penalty shootout. We've got the presentation party now on the 3-tiered platform. So the UEFA Super Cup is there on its silver plinth, just waiting for the UEFA president Alexander Chefrin. He's handing out the medals to Tottenham just at the moment. So the Tottenham players, crestfallen, are going to walk up, and they're walking through It's almost become a time-honoured scene, this now, hasn't it, where the team that wins forms a guard of honour, so all of the players and the backup staff and the coaches as well. Luis Enrique is there as well. They applaud Tottenham through, and they go up and have their medals placed around their necks. It is such a well-rehearsed routine, this, that Alexander Chefrin has got. I'm not sure what the name is of the UEFA official, but he's an absolute key part, isn't he, with the box of medals that are placed behind Alexander Chefrin. And it's almost like watching a Swiss clock working, that he places his hand behind his back, the man behind puts the medal into his hand, he moves it forward, puts it over his back, hand goes behind again. I mean, do you think they'd practice it?
They'd be good in a heist, wouldn't they?
They would, wouldn't they? The old diamond necklace. Yeah, so there we are, the Tottenham players goal. I mean, I think part of the great disappointment is, yes, they've lost, but I think it's the manner of the defeat, isn't it, when they've come so close?
I think that's exactly it, John. I think it's the manner of the defeat, like you say, they come so close, almost like playing out for time, defending so deep, hanging on in, playing long balls, trying to waste time, trying to run the clock down, and it's hugely disappointing. Well, Luis Enrique steps forward first. It's a familiar journey, this, over the course of the last year or so. And he gets a big hug, another hug of victory from the PSG president, the head of the Qatar Sports Investment Group, Nasser El Khalifi, celebrating again together after all of the successes last season, the Champions League that they craved for such a long time, and of course another domestic double as well, the French League and the Coupe de France as well. They lost out in New Jersey, but back here in Europe, no one can touch them. No, the QSI investment finally paying off for PSG. Winning of the Champions League last year, wasn't it? That's everything that they've chased for such a long time. Yep, and now the plan is to retain it. So Marquinhos, who is a brilliant figure actually. I've seen quite a lot of him over the course, both on and off the pitch, over the course of the last few months last season. He is a very, very impressive man, captaining Brazil as well. He'll take them to the World Cup under Ancelotti next summer. Well, he's the last man in the line, and he gets a hug as well from Nasser El Khalifi. Yes, he's on 99 caps. His next one will be his 100th. But what a scene that we've got here. The moon is huge in the sky, a sort of orangey moon up there. But the stars, the PSG stars, are all down on the pitch. Tottenham turned up in their cream suits tonight here in Italy. But at the end of the evening, the cream has risen to the top, and it's Marquinhos who walks across with the trophy. Marquinhos lifts it, and the Super Cup, the UEFA Super Cup, is Paris Saint-Germain's. That trophy is going to France for the first time, and it's going back there to the capital with PSG. Absolute devastation and disappointment for Tottenham's players, standing just a few yards away, all in white. A number of them are clapping Paris Saint-Germain. So close for Tottenham to winning a second trophy in 2025. Instead, it's yet another one for PSG.
Right, let's bring Matt Spiro, French football expert, into the conversation as we watch the PSG players celebrating and lifting the trophy. Matt, we've just been talking about the devastation on the face of the Tottenham players and what it means to them to have lost this final in this way. How big a moment is this for Paris Saint-Germain?
Well, I think it's important, Steve. I think, if Tottenham had gone on, held on to their lead, then I think a lot of people here would have said, well, listen, PSG were not physically ready for this one. They've only been back in training for a week, and it certainly looked like that in the first half. Physically they were a long way from their best. But as Marquinhos just said on French television, it's not just about physicality. It's about being able to use the ball. It's about positioning and tactics, and they absolutely showed their spirit and their determination, as well as their quality, I think, to actually get over the line just about in the end.
The way that they looked at that trophy, and some of them kissed that trophy as well. I mean, it's not exactly the Champions League trophy lift, but there is a lot of love for that. I mean, it is a great trophy, and it's an old school trophy as well.
Absolutely, and like you said, or like John said, it's the first ever time that a French club has won the Super Cup, and actually PSG's last attempt was in 1997. They lost 6-1 to Juventus in the first leg, and then 3-1 in the second leg. So they had a horrible time of it. So it's important, of course. We've waited so long for a French team to follow Marseille, who won the Champions League in '93. PSG have finally done it. I think also after missing out to Chelsea in the FIFA Club World Cup, I think it's important. It would have been a little bit of an anticlimax had they been beaten again. So it's a fifth trophy that they've won now in the last 12 months, and absolutely it is important to them.
It's also a huge moment that for Lucas Chevalier, who certainly made a mistake for the second Tottenham goal. For him to have come back and saved a penalty in the shootout with everything that's going on around Gigi Donnarumma, that will be a big moment for him.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge. I mean, the spotlight is going to be on the goalkeeper throughout this season, assuming that Donnarumma does leave Paris Saint-Germain, there are going to be comparisons, everything Chevalier does. He's a terrific young goalkeeper, but he's not totally proven, at the very highest level yet. He made that mistake. It was interesting to see him celebrate wildly when Gonzalo Ramos got the equaliser. You could see he was so delighted he was going to have the chance to redeem himself, and he pulled off one very important save, and that ultimately proved enough with Matistel missing a penalty as well. So it's going to be fascinating to see how that pans out. A move that is seen as surprising by some, controversial by some, but something that I think Luis Enrique was looking to do several months ago, even before Donnarumma's Champions League heroics.
Matt, good stuff. Thank you very much indeed. Matt Spiro, French football expert. We've got a couple of minutes left to 5 Live Sport. John, for a moment there, I thought Ousmane Dembélé was just going to take complete ownership of the European Super Cup.
Oh, I missed that.
He just took it away with him into the corner and left everybody behind for a minute, but they seem to have all caught up.
Yes, they're now actually doing one of those great pictures. The team are all gathered together with the supporters in behind. They love to do this because, we know that there's a brilliant bond between the supporters. I'll never forget that banner that they held up, which featured Luis Enrique's daughter in the stadium in Munich in the aftermath of the victory there. That was truly touching, wasn't it? So they want these photographs of the team all together with the trophy and the supporters all behind. So yes, yet more scenes of Paris celebration here.
We've got about 4 minutes left, so let's just bring it back to Tottenham Hotspur. So Aaron, when the frustration and the devastation of the night has worn off, what, looking forward, is the thing that most impressed you about seeing Thomas Frank's Tottenham for the first time?
I think it was the whole structure of the team now. They look so more disciplined, and I think you need that in the Premier League. Like you said, there was times last season, too many times where the team was just too open and they got exposed. And I think under Thomas Frank, we're going to see a much more organised Tottenham side. It's going to be very different to last season. But I think, like I said, after tonight, once the dust does settle, there's a lot of positives to take from this evening.
It's one game, I know, Paul, but they did look at a much better side from set pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. They looked a much better side, full stop. I know they had a great start under Ange Postecoglou, but actually they looked like a side who were organised and they had a structure and a game plan, not only at the start of the game, but at different points in the game. He was able to adapt, he was able to change. Obviously, they didn't hold on as a counter-argument to that. They weren't able to hold on and adapt enough to hold on. But actually, you can see a manager who's tactically aware and he's tactically able to set up a team to try and beat a team who his team are inferior to. The structure was there, the set plays were there. You could see they were playing in a different way. There was an understanding, and there was an enjoyment of being without the ball, the defending side of things. They were quite comfortable to retreat into a defensive shape. I'm talking about it in the first half, not just at the end when they were having to hold on, but actually when they weren't in possession, they were quite happy and comfortable in a defensive structure, and they knew what the trigger was to press and break out of that structure, which we haven't seen before.
I wouldn't be surprised if many of the Tottenham fans, I think most of whom have actually left the stadium now, are wondering why Brennan Johnson didn't get onto the field tonight. I mean, there may be reasons for that, but he was named as a substitute, so no Brennan Johnson. Obviously Maddison and Kulusevski are out. Two very important players, with Doggy not able to be involved tonight. But Thomas Frank, reading between the lines how he sounded when he spoke to us last night, he came across as a man who's confident that there are more new players coming. By the way, Daniel Levy not here tonight and wasn't part of the presentation party. The reason for that is, it's a very good reason, he is away. His daughter's just started university in the United States, so that's why he wasn't here, just in case anyone's wondering.
All right, John, Paul, good stuff. Thank you very much indeed. Correspondent John Murray and former Tottenham and England goalkeeper Paul Robinson, who are out there in Udine, where Paris Saint-Germain have just beaten Tottenham Hotspur on a penalty shootout to win the Super Cup. Aaron, lovely to have you with us as always. Thank you.
Likewise, mate. Been a pleasure.
Brilliant. Aaron Lennon, who's been with us all night on 5 Live Sport. There'll be more reaction, of course, on the Football Daily podcast. Just gone 10:30. Tony Livesey, good evening.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming, actually. I thought they'd done it. Thought they'd done enough.